It's all good.
Okay, let's start with judging.
Okay.
I just get my stuff right here. Natasha, you're okay, no?
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine. So while you're getting everything ready, let me just say thank you very much to Diane and Albertino for the invitation. I consider you guys and many of your club members friends. So I hope you don't mind if I don't like the word the judge. I prefer really to look at it like we're just friends getting together and having a conversation about what we all enjoy, which is photography. So Diane always makes me feel good, but I don't know what she sees because I certainly don't. I don't consider myself anything more special than somebody who loves photography. I love trying to share some knowledge so that we can all grow together. But more than anything, I love looking at beautiful images and working with artists. And I've been doing this for all my professional career. So if I do give you a score that maybe upsets you tonight or you feel it was worth more, please don't take it to heart and feel that you want to throw in the towel and you don't want to do photography anymore. It doesn't work like that. A lot of times, even when we judge at salons, it depends on the images that come before. It depends on the images that are presented and what we've seen in the last few weeks. And you get an idea. Certain people I know are brilliant at portraits, and then in your mind, you know, this is the benchmark or the hallmark for portraits. And we compare it even in our head. Does it look like this? Has it got impact? But as long as you enjoy your photography, I promise you, I will find the good in every single image. So I don't want anybody to leave feeling disillusioned or that we haven't enjoyed a good evening tonight. Okay. And you're welcome. Ask me questions. I'm happy to stay on afterwards, or you can WhatsApp me or call me. It's really no problem. All right. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, and I think one of our slogans is to enjoy your hobby, eh?
Yeah.
I see it more as a hobby, and otherwise I would have sat on the veranda with a cup of coffee and a biscuit, but that's not for me right now. Okay.
Well, let me tell you, this is a very expensive hobby, right? I'm thinking Istanbul, and we all need cards that are expensive and more batteries, and the cost of everything is just getting more and more. So we really need to take advantage of learning opportunities so that the money that we're spending on our photography gives us the returns that make us coming back for more.
Yeah, no, I was counting the four of us, the three ladies on the plane from Qatar to South Africa. I think the cameras and the equipment was worth more than an aeroplane. Eh?
Albertina, you were the only
Tino.
gentleman there.
Okay, can we start, please, Tino?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're tiring, Moss. Right, let's go.
Okay. I had to get my stuff ready. Die titel van die sorry, bicycle, and it's does your screen also gonna blink now and then, or is it just mine?
I am seeing it, and I can see the score and the name, and I can also call it out if you like. It's not a problem.
I just sometimes now and then my screen just goes off. I'm not too sure if
Okay.
it's reflecting to you as well or not.
Okay, I'll let you know, but right now I
Okay.
can see it. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you.
Okay.
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 You can
Renata,
go ahead.
thank you. I like what you've captured here. It is a lovely evening scene that has been beautifully lit. There's elements of interest. I'm not always a fan of this portrait crop because I'm the kind of person I always want to see a little bit more on the left and a little bit more on the right. But I think in this instance, you've contained everything. You've got a very strong visual image in the bicycle, which is black, so it stands out very nicely against this warm palette. You've got the lamp at the top, which gives a nice glow, and you've got all the textures on the rock, and as well as the little bit of added information on the bottom. I think you've handled this very, very attractively for a 2-star. By means of improvement, and by no means is it a criticism, as you're going up in your photography, that white bit in the lamp, the light that's coming out of the lamp, we're going to want the exposure handled a little bit better. So it's more of the yellowy, warm colors. But the way you've presented it for a 2-star, very well done. Thank you.
Thank you. Blou karretjie, Rita vir Andri.
Henri, I really enjoy this image. It's just got so much appeal. The little car, the water drops. I love your depth of field on it. The blurred background, the color palette. I think it's very engaging. I don't know if it's a little model car. Forgive me, I don't know enough about it. But if this is a little model car, you have made it look so realistic. It's very, very attractive. Well done.
Bubble on bicycle spoke, goud vir Monique.
Okay, Monique, I can see what you're trying to do here. A bicycle spoke, only by virtue of your title, you would have to look a little bit for it. So, what is good in your image is that you've got a central main point on that little bubble, and then you've got some diagonals within the image and little pops of color. Is this enough, though, to really hold my image or hold my attention? Had you not given me the title Bubble on Bicycle Spoke, I would not necessarily know what I was looking at there. And sometimes you've got to wonder, did you put the bubble on the bicycle spoke? I'm not actually sure. So is your story all coming together in something that makes a little bit of sense to me? I'm not entirely sure. If this were my image, I'm inclined to say I would cut out this white bit and I would make this more of a vertical image and focus on the little bubble that's on the line there, because those color reds and blues, they don't add anything. If anything, they're actually drawing my eye away. So a little bit of refinement of your concept. Thank you.
Cat play, Gemma, goud vir jou.
Okay, very sweet capture of this little kitty cat. And for those of you that don't know me yet, I am a massive fan of cats. So you've already got my attention. But be that as may, we have engagement with the little kitty. We can see a little bit of the environment that it's lying against. And you've got that little pink pop of the tongue. Your image is a little bit bright, so how could you improve it? You can go into your editing panel if you edit in Lightroom or Camera Raw. Just pull down the highlights a little bit and then get down even lower. It still feels a little bit to me like you've shot the cat from a higher vantage point. Get down lower, even if you have to go down on your tummy. Get down low and engage nicely into the kitty's eyes, and then you're going to see your work will elevate even more. But you've captured a very playful moment. Thank you.
Cloud reflection over the Vaal River is goud vir Trevor.
Yeah, Trevor, I had a good look at your image because I'm wondering if this is the bird sanctuary. And depending on where you shot this, I have a home right across the river. And I was trying to look and see, is this the house that I see from where we have property in Volview? But okay, it's a lovely capture. I love that you've got drama in the sky and you've got a nice reflection at the bottom. Also can tell a bit of storytelling that a boat has come through because you're getting all these lines and the water that's breaking outwards. Nice drama throughout. Here's the thing, right? Some images where you do a very centralized composition, as you have in this instance, when you've got a very heavy line going halfway through the image, you've got 50% of the sky down to the very, very dark land, and then that black line that goes throughout, you've given me exactly another 50%. So what could make your image a little bit more dynamic is bring it down to rule of thirds. And it's not entirely necessary all the time, but it is more visually impactful. So do I need 100% of this reflection down at the bottom? You want to bring that skyline, the horizon line down a little bit. So I would sacrifice more of this reflection down at the bottom and drop it down a third, because you definitely don't want to cut through the top of the clouds. And that would just be by means of a slight improvement. But yeah, drop me a message and tell me where you were when you shot the photo. I'd be keen to know. Thank you.
Glancing, Marita for Marie.
Marita, as a 1 star, you show great promise with portraiture. I love that you've been brave enough to do a monochrome conversion because, as a 1 star, well, I felt quite intimidated. In fact, I still feel intimidated with my monochrome conversions, whether I've got good tonality or not. But it's more than that. Yes, you've done a good black and white. I see blacks, I see nice tonality throughout. You have got a very interesting pose in this young lady. I like the way she's holding her legs. It's something I see a lot of portraiture. I think you've got a fresh take on it. That's worked very nicely. So those are the good things. Your pose is very nice. Your monochrome conversion is very nice. I like the lighting across her face. How would I improve your image? If you look between her neck and her black t-shirt, there's a little bit of jewelry there. And that little silver thing is catching my eye quite a bit. And it's really quick and easy to clone out. You're a 1 star, so there's really not a lot to stress you with. Your blacks are very, very dark. And if you look at the back of her body here, um, because you haven't added a fine little border around your image, her black shirt is disappearing. And I can see a little bit of texture on the bottom. And then in between her body, I'm almost getting a limb coming out and an arm. So if you go into your editing and you just try and lift the shadows slightly, slightly, we don't want blacks that blend into our black background, okay? Because then it looks like you've got a floating arm and a floating leg. But this is a very impressive portrait for a 1 star. So go back, try those little recommendations I've made, and I hope it helps you. But I'm looking forward to seeing more good work from you. Thank you.
Life cycle final stage. Goud for Irene.
Irene, you've chosen very interesting subject matter. It's not everybody that's going to want to show a dead flower. And we know that people say, but why didn't you choose a good specimen? There's so many flowers in your garden. Why has this one not got a leaf? What were you thinking? But you are involved, or you are a photographer who wants to tell more than the chocolate box picture, right? And I think your idea to include to present this image in a monochrome conversion was very good indeed. I like that your flower is not perfect. I like that you've added a little bit of detail at the bottom. Sometimes people or judges say, look, if you've got a perfectly symmetrical flower, just crop off this bottom little bit and give us a square crop. Well, you've given us a little bit of detail. So this little flower to me has got a base, and I like that very much. Beautiful textures, nice lighting, well presented. Thank you.
Light bulb explosion is a Marita for Judy.
Really very good rendition. You've got the light bulb against a tenebristic, which is a very, very black background. And then you've got a little bit of the wooden base at the bottom, the cracked glass. It's a warm feeling to it. And then I'm maybe just because I like storytelling, I feel like you've got a skull there. Can you guys see the glowing eyes and the little mouth with the almost like the skull going shh, shh, and then the puff of smoke coming up. It's a very good image. Well done, Judy. Well deserved.
Thank you. Lost is a silver for Elsa.
Okay, Elsa, I'm very familiar with your floral work, and I'm a great admirer, by the way. I didn't know this was your image, obviously, but now that I see your name, I've seen a lot of your dandelions, and the detail and the way you present your work is not pure photography, it's art. Your images always tell a story. So why the silver on this one? Because okay, my point. I feel that the checkered chessboard in the background keeps drawing my eye. So I'm hopping from the very dark blacks, white, black, and then I identify, okay, it's a chessboard. And I'm not paying the attention that I really want to see in here because this centralized section, as I saw it and as presented, is not entirely as sharp. And when I come to that and I look at the details all around the back, and forgive me, it's Zoom, I wish I could point to it and actually show you. I find that I'm not connecting with your why you chose, because it's a still life, why you chose to put this dandelion against a checkerboard. Grootmeester, silver lost. I'm sorry. Grandmaster, silver lost. I'm sorry. I didn't get the concept on this particular image. Thank you.
Musty, goud vir Pieter.
Okay, forgive me. Grootmeester means that you're a master silver, right?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, great. So that previous image with the dandelion calling lost, the concept. Okay, this one. So the title is just called Lost, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
the dandelion has fallen down. Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Okay.
Just watch for backgrounds so that your focal point stays, your viewer's eye is very much driven to where you want to see it. Okay. Definitely an author who understands portraiture and who's actually taught me a hell of a lot. So Peter, a very, very good image from you. Your images are storytelling, and this one is just one exactly like that. There's emotion, there's thought, the pose of the hands, the lighting across the face, the hair and the position it is, the clothing, all offset against the tenebristic background. It works very nicely. Thank you.
Observing, dis 'n Marita vir Nick.
I really like this image. You cannot compare color to mono. Mono, and I did a presentation, believe it or not, Diane, you're going to come knocking on my door. I did my first presentation at Bethel last week about appreciating monochrome. And the only way I was able to do it is to compare color to monochrome. And one of the things that I found in the quote there is when you take a portrait of somebody in color, you are often photographing their clothes. Where do we see? Our eyes wander around the clothes. And here's the perfect example. I was fascinated by this picture. I looked at his face, I take in all the detail, I look at the environment he's in. But because you are depicting a culture that I'm unfamiliar with, it is interesting. His gaze. He is not a posed portrait. I'm not telling him, look directly at me. That's not it. You captured the moment. He's far away. He's in his own little realm. Then you look at those dirty feet, their story. You look at his pose, story. You look at the clothing, so effortlessly wrapped, the oranges, the golds, the color against that beard, and you've got a compelling portrait. Well, well done.
Thank you. Pollination in action, goud vir Potty.
Very nice, Gerard. Nice. You've handled your whites very nicely, and it's very difficult in bright sunlight. You've got some hoho interest that works particularly well, and we can see nice greens and blues. So the way you've composed your subject is definitely worthy of the gold. I don't mind that it's a central subject because it stands proud. It's proud. It's proud in that environment. It's not competing against any other flower, and that's the beauty of a lily, right? No matter how the light falls on it, it is a very compelling image to look at. The only thing that I would recommend, or maybe you can change back in post-processing, is the little stem that it's on coming up. Could you just show a little bit more of that so we can see what it's actually attached to? Thank you.
Pondering Canadian Goose, silver for Nico.
Okay, Nico, not familiar with this ducky, but I can see that you've captured it in a very docile position and you've included a little bit of its environment, which is very nice. This is the beginning stages of bird photography. May I ask you, Diane or Albertino, is Roelof in your club? The bird photographer,
No,
Roelof?
he's not. No.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, I'm dying to do a course with him because I love, love, love birding. But I've been trying to be a good birder since I was 1 star. I don't think I progressed very much through it. But these are the kind of shots that we take. We see the bird, you get so excited. You see the textures and the inclusions, and I often forget what's going on all around it. Okay. So the good aspects of your photo, you've got fine feather detail. That works nicely. You've got a little bit of environment, tells me where I can expect to see it. Um, the position of the head, I can see the eye a little bit. It is a little bit dark. And then because you've got mottled light all over, you've got that root in the background that comes from the left. And what that root really does, aside from the mottled light, it leads me to your bird. Then I'm looking in the eye, and unfortunately, it carries on out your image to that very white spot above the head. So we've got to learn, how do we control these whites and blacks? And that's what you've got here. You've got a white and a black head. So you've got the bride and the bridegroom. How do you control your exposure? Very, very tricky, but you're on the right path. And I'm going to look forward to seeing a lot more images from you in the future. Thank you.
I don't know if Nico can give us a bit more. Nico's all the way from Canada in Vancouver, so it's morning by him.
That's why I'm saying I don't know
Excuse
what
me.
the Canadian goose is. I've never seen it.
Yes, no, I mean, they're all over here. Even in the traffic, you've got to wait sometimes so that they can cross a road to the lake on the other side. But yes, this one wasn't a lot too far from, it's very little lake where I took this shot.
You know, Nico, dappled light. Are you originally from South Africa and you've immigrated to Canada?
Yes, it's been 27 years now.
Oh, goodness, you are Canadian, right?
Yes.
Do you still follow the Afrikaans, by the way? Do you still follow the Afrikaans?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I hear a bit from my wife through the family what's going on.
Okay, all right. Does anything help you about my comments about watching where your eye is led through the image and out the image?
Okay. Oh, yes, I appreciate all the feedback. Thank you so much.
It's but a pleasure. But then hopefully I'll be seeing more of your work, and you'll have to come find me and follow me so that we can challenge each other to improve our bird photography, okay?
Will do.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Pure enjoyment, Marita vir Diane.
Just beautiful. And in this instance, it's a very simple pose, very, very simple pose. But what is photography? It's the capture of light. And what is this light doing? That's the rim light and the top light. It is outlining her shape. And with dancers, you want a good pose, check the box. You want grace, check the box. Offset against a beautiful background. In actual fact, okay, so it's Diane's image. This image actually does not look as good as what it really is over Zoom. The actual image itself, and I find that with a lot of Zoom, you're looking at it and you go, no, this image projects on my Mac computer is a lot more beautiful than what it is here. It looks good here, but it really looks beautiful as the image that was shared to me to prejudge. So I think put this into a salon, you're going to get wonderful results. You've got beautiful skin tones, lovely. Everything about your image is very striking. In this instance, guys, where is the light coming from? My eye goes straight up to the hand at the top, and it follows right down her form, all the way right down to the tip of the toe. So we are led by that hand coming all the way down. Use the rules to guide you, to guide the viewer's eye into what you're wanting to see. Well done. Thank you.
Slip and slide, 'n goud vir Jan.
Yeah, nice image. Got good movement through the wheels. It's dirty, it's sharp where it is. It's got good panning potential. And I also enjoyed the little bits of, I'm guessing, cosmos in the background. I think it's a good action photograph. Thank you.
Soutkop, Marita vir Wynand.
Yeah, you know, guys, I'm organizing the regional congress for Southerns, and I'm looking at all your junior workers, and I know how many clubs are struggling for juniors. So I think you guys have got a very good chance. Your junior work is really excellent. So I will be sending out more details in terms of getting your panel together, right? A lovely image for a 1-star. It's got so much atmosphere. It's caught in a beautiful position within the frame. I love that you've got the track coming in from the bottom left and leading out, but the train is coming to you. Lovely smoke detail and clouds, and just a little bit of environment. So in this instance, Wynand, your train stands proud, and what I like even more is that there's a man. The train driver, the conductor, is on that Sootkorp. Well done. Very nicely captured. Okay, so this is 1 star. I don't know how your club works in terms of mentoring members, but how could you improve your image? What could you potentially do? If you're going to put this into photojournalism, you can't take anything out. Then the only improvement that I'm going to say to you is if you cropped it on the bottom and this little piece, not the white. Oh, somebody help me. What is this white and red thing down in the bottom here? No, that one. Yes. You've got to keep that in, right? Sorry, now I've added something. Oh, goodness. Now, why have I got half your photo coming up? Okay, I'm not talking about this one. Your image isn't. Yes, okay, it's come out. You cannot crop out this little bit of distraction here. But I'm on the border of your image. Once I've seen your train, I'm actually now wanting to appreciate your whole image. If you're going to put this in open color, crop out these little white things down at the bottom here. If you cannot and you have cropped it in, try and crop it out to include that. But where it is, it's on the edge, it's a little bit uncomfortable, okay? And then dodge and burn. So if somebody at your club can show you some dodge and burn and get even more volume and even more drama and even more impact in that smoke, this image is going to do very well for you. All right, thank you.
Still lewe reflectie is 'n goud fasade.
Yeah, sorry, you've got a nice eye for still life, and I like that you've juxtaposed the composition with the roughness of the wood behind against these lovely soft, I'm guessing they some form of orchid or cymbidium. You've got the soft textures, the whites against it, and then you've got the additional element of the camera on the right-hand side. Now, once I've seen the textures, once I've looked around your image, and okay, so here's how I'm looking at your image. The first thing that catches my eye is this blue on the side because it takes up the biggest space in your photograph and it is duplicated. So it's a very bold element. And then my eye looks at that middle section, but I'm actually led to the left of your image. So your image is very heavily weighted to the end. From reading left to right, there's something very heavy on the right. It's very soft and it leads up on the left, leads up. Then I've got those little bigger blooms, the buds, and it's pointing to the camera. So there's 2 things that I would consider doing that would have increased your scoring on here. Sometimes less is more. I don't think your image needs the camera. I like the juxtaposition of the soft, dainty flowers with the rough, natural textures at the background. And if I cut out your camera, that's more pleasing to me. Or take out the flowers and put in the camera because you've got the wooden textures. So that concept didn't really come too well for me because what I've got now is I'm looking at the top and then I'm looking at the same image down at the bottom. And the bottom one is darker. But I'm toggling up, down, up, down, up, down. And you can't exactly cut this one, as I said to the image before with the vol scene. You can't really cut this in half. Okay. So in future, just think, do my elements work together? If you're putting out 3 or 4, think, okay, I started with 4, take the photo. Does this kind of make a story? Is this maybe a little bit heavy? And then go back by process of elimination. Thank you.
Stunning Peter, goud for Carlos.
Carlos. I'm sure Peter is the most obliging and most photographed model that we have up here in Joburg, and we love him all, don't we? A really engaging photograph. You've got nice detail in his eyes. You've made a nice and authentic edit. And against a black background, we can see his hair and we see a little bit of character of the guy. Why the 10 gold then? In terms of being a 3-star, you've captured the portrait. It's good. Nothing wrong with that. There is a little bit more space above his head than I actually need. So you can crop away at least. I would say leave an inch above his head. Okay, here's how I work. I like your space on the left, the black space on the left. Let's look at as he looks, the left of the picture. And I like that you've left you've got double that on the right on his shoulder. But now when you come to the top, are you going to follow that small little 15 millimeters that's on the left side of his face, or all of that on the right, which is a good 4 centimeters? And now you've even gone to 5. So I think an inch, just crop off that inch. It doesn't add any value. You are a 3-star already. You need to find ways that you are going to bring more impact out. So dodge and burn on all portraits. Definitely, that's quite important. And adding a little bit more contrast so that you can really bring out the textures. And here's a tip. With women, when I edit in Camera Raw, I always pull down the clarity and I pull down the clarity a little bit and sharpness on a woman. Clarity and contrast. They're not a woman's friend, but on a man, you know. So here's the thing. Sorry, women. I think almost every woman will agree with me. As men get older, they get more attractive. And if they've got a scar or they've got some kind of character as women, we go, oh, that's appealing. We don't want that on women, but on a man, you can push the clarity a little bit more, and you are making him a little bit more masculine. Okay, I hope that helps.
Dan kies goud vir Marika.
Yeah, Marika, I really enjoyed this image. It would not be the same in color. The tatty jeans, the textures of the rocks. It's a nice candid moment. And originally, earlier, I got confused with the human interest category, but it's got standout appeal to me. She's not directly engaging with you, but I've got all the feelings of summer going on here, and it's telling me a story of a woman that's got attitude, and she's just so confident, and you have made her the hero of the story. Well done.
The Heart of the Horse Maiden.
Mm.
Marita for Ingrid. Can anybody tell me, how do I get rid of these little blue mark?
I was actually just about to ask. Nick had his pen on earlier. It was coming blue writing all over my screen. Nick was writing. I don't know how you do that. I don't. Okay, I know they're there. Don't worry about them. Okay, don't worry. I know Brandpunt is only over Zoom, but this particular image, as I'm seeing it over Zoom, is not a good reflection of the actual image that's going to project in a salon. It is far superior. This is a lovely image, Ingrid. The tonality that I saw when I prejudged it, the coloration, the warmth that's coming through. I really enjoyed this. You've got beautiful synergy and you've captured a fine image. Thank you.
I'm sorry, the blue mark gone?
No, they're still there, Nick. But I know they're there, so I'm not, yeah, don't worry about it. You were drawing all over on the left-hand side when I was talking about Peter's portrait.
Yeah, sorry, I'm on a tablet and I don't know how to handle all this.
No, don't worry. It's okay. No, please don't worry. I hope I'm not going to be saying, oh, there we go. Somebody's rubbing them out for us. I was going to say they're hot pixels, right?
Okay.
There's always value in doing things over Zoom, but here's another image. I wish you guys could see. I judge on a very big Mac. I wish you could, and I hope some of you do go along to salon judging sessions, or you get together as a club in some venue and you project these beautiful images, because Zoom degrades the quality. You honestly aren't seeing. This image is another stunning, stunning image. It's got beautiful color saturation and details that when you're looking at it now on Zoom from home, you might just go, oh, okay, yeah, but it is beautiful, fine details, lovely against the purple pampa grass, lovely, lovely tonality, and this light up on the top. Well done, Lucia. 3-star. If you guys do not come up in the southern regions in your junior section, I'm going to be very surprised. So yeah, make sure you all enter your images, right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Time to sit on one of these steps. There's a photo for Karen.
Karen, it's your image. Okay, I enjoy this. I love going to places, and it's one of the reasons that I think I enjoy imagery so much, because I don't get to travel anywhere other than Africa, and my partner taking me to the bush. So we don't do a lot of overseas travel as such. I look at it a lot. And these Indian pictures, and they're a different culture. So images have the power to transport us to places and show us things that we just don't get to see ordinarily. Another candid photograph, but there's so much storytelling going on all around it. So let's talk about the good aspects of it. You've included it in color, and I think that's a good decision, because your tonality on the bottom half is all very much the same. The pinks, the peaches, the creams, the oranges. I don't know if it would work as successfully, but you've got lines up and then at a diagonal. So you've got all these diagonals, and what they do is they actually frame this little man. I tried, I'm going to be honest, I tried to crop it any other way I could to eliminate that top green door and I don't know if it's scaffolding above. I don't mind the security gate on the right side, but I found that that green is such a powerful color that my eye loses the bottom section, because that's an area of contrast. And I went up and there's nothing much happening there but the door and that. So if you're going to enter this into open color, I would consider changing that color of the green, even if you make it a darker green, just so that my eye doesn't move away from your hero of your subject. Okay. And then one other means of improvement, you've got on the left-hand side, there's a garland of those flowers. Somebody's told me what they are before, but I know it's the flower blessings and whatever. It's distracting because now you've got repetitive patterns and it's happening on the edge of the frame. So just if this were my image, I would crop down on the left and crop that entirely out. And on the right-hand side here, just slightly to the left of that security door, I would crop out that white wall with the writing as well, by means of improvement. But otherwise, I do like the figure. I think you've done well. Thank you.
View from below, Marita Verdedre.
Yeah, I really love this. It is an excellent black and white. You've got the full range, actually monochrome, beg your pardon, full black, all the whites, all the tonality in between, but it is interesting and it's dynamic. And you've got space above so we can see it's a bit of the skyline. And then you've got all these geometric shapes that have got texture and light reflection, and it's a building and structure. This will do very well in monochrome, and this will do very nicely for you in architecture too. Well presented. Thank you. Is that you again, Nick, rubbing out on my screen?
No, it's me. Somebody's messing. I found a way to rub them out now.
I see. So. Okay, it's gone.
It's just by accident.
Yeah, but the funny thing is that often when we're judging and you're projecting it in a salon, one hot pixel can draw your eye all the time. It's human nature. We go for the brightest area or something that stands out. And it did bother me. I saw too, and I was going to say before you jumped in, are those hot pixels? So yeah, keep it in mind when you do your border patrol and you finished editing your image, guys, go and look for all those sensor spots. Go look for little hot spots and clone out if you're allowed to. It's not a PJ category or non-manipulator category, so you can't do it in nature, you can't do it in PJ. Clone out, even if you think, oh, this is a tiny little dot. If you saw a tiny dot in this gray area up on the top there, it would bug a judge, so you don't want it there. Where you do want this tiny white dot is slap bang there in the middle of this Brahmin bull's eye, right? We would want a little bit of a catch light. But nice that you've edited it in monochrome. Your bull definitely stands proud. It's in a very good position. I like that you've given it space to breathe. I know it sounds like a bit of a cliche. Oh, we want the animal, we want to give it somewhere to look into. But as you go up, when you start photography, you are really close and you want to fill the frame. But as you become a more experienced photographer, you realize that it's not just about capturing a good portrait. You want to tell a story. So here you've got the bull standing proud, you've got the grasses, you've got a bit of environment in the background. And what it actually does is gives us more points of interest. So it tells us more than just a straightforward portrait about your bull here. 4-star, a little bit more dodging and burning can help you. Just be careful when you do your monochrome conversions and you may push your contrast. You'll see there's a little bit of a halo. If you look on the top of the head, circling out around, it's only really visible because you've got that solid gray color behind. So just be a little bit more careful about that. No problem. And then, okay, here's the thing with eyes. When you convert to black and white, never convert an image where you don't have a catch light in the eye. And it's also true, you can maybe get away with it in color, but as it's presenting right now, does it feel to you maybe that you're looking into the animal and you can't really see the orb of the eye? If you had a little bit of light in there, that would elevate it. Now, if you're entering this in monochrome, there's no reason why you can't do a little thunk into the top of that eye on a separate layer and reduce the opacity so that we're not seeing into a dark, deep abyss into that little eye cavity. Okay, you can add that. Please don't add that in PJ and please don't add that in nature. But you're not allowed to enter a bull anyway in nature. It's a domestic animal. But just points for consideration. Thank you.
Breakfast, goud vir Irene.
Okay, Irene, you've presented a nice high key image over here, and this is the staple breakfast for many of us. Some nice Kellogg's, and obviously you've got milk that's coming in from the top. I did struggle a little bit to understand your concept here. The whites have been handled very nicely. That works okay. But then I'm looking at your graphics on the right-hand side, and I'm wondering, birds in a tree, is this maybe the tablecloth? I'm not sure that your concept was very strong to me. So I'm going to say, could there be something else that you want to explain breakfast with? Whether it is another fruit or the spoon perhaps that goes with this, that could have elevated it. But your concept is a little bit lost to me. The trees, the birds, and in silhouette against a very bright background. The angle that you shot the food at or the cereal at is quite nice. You've got nice depth of field, so it's not sharp throughout, which catches a little bit of interest. And then I've got a very straight line of the milk coming down, which I'm not quite sure how you get that flat straight line, but your milk is disappearing into the background there. So just think about things in terms of what elements go together when you're doing a still life, because it is all in your control. And you've got a lot of wasted space here it's very, very busy, very graphic, very abstract on your right. And then you've got lots of texture in the milk and whatever. And if I look on your left-hand side, you'll see a few little dirty marks. Just clone those out on the left-hand side. Okay. But I think as a 3-star, you've tried something different, and that I do commend you for. Thank you.
Bridge with boat trails, Marita vir Diane.
Yeah. Again, going back to my talk about color versus monochrome. Yes, this would be a very strong image if it was in monochrome, but look at the energy and the drama and the dynamic. The color pops. I'm sure it would be good in monochrome. A good image can stand its own, but in color, this has got massive impact. Why? Good depth of field. You've got the starbursts. They're not just blown out areas. It's little sparkles in your environment. So it's almost like you're injecting the magic, right? Look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. And sometimes too much can be annoying, but I think you've just got the right amount here. I love your vantage point. I love that you've made the bridge so big that I feel like you're standing under it because it's proud. It leads us right from the right-hand side all the way across, up the red tower in the back, and then to those 4 turrets at the back at the mosque. And then this beautiful blue color palette to hold all these golds together with a sprinkling of stars. Beautiful. Super, super engaging image, and I'm sure it will do well in a salon. Thank you.
Celebrating Mother's Day. So, goud for Monique.
Monique, I'm hoping that you bake these cupcakes because they look scrumptious, like I just want to eat them. They look fresh, and that's the thing about food photography. If the person viewing it doesn't go, want a bite of that. So yes, it's nice. You've got little sprinkles. Your depth of field is quite nice, going all the way back from sharp in the front out to the back. It's interesting. You've got some nice interest in that you've got a little bit of cut off on some of the sides. I think you've handled that quite nicely overall. As a 2-star, perhaps a real little nitpick. If you had pulled your levels a little bit, you may have got that best mum ever, the blacks in that, just to pop a little bit more. Oh, but that's something so small. Very nice, thank you.
Die lewe by die blou trappies is 'n goud vir Karen.
Yeah, I took quite a bit of time to look at this image because, like you, the viewer, when you see it, your eye is looking, and there's a lot to take in on the street scene, right? It's photojournalistic. We are not supposed to we're not supposed to concentrate too much on the technical aspects of it, but there's so much here that works, right? There's the scene on the left, which is happening on the street. There's something blue fabricy in the middle of the image, and then it leads me down the stairs to that man lying on the bench and all his belongings on the right. So at first I pondered, and I'm like, is this not 2 images? You're telling me 2 stories, but I'm guessing that in this environment in India, in Pakistan, in that part of the world, this is what actually happens. The businesses, it looks like he's a barber. I'm looking at the hair on the left-hand side. The man's smoking. He's got his shoes off. The barber's got I don't know, scissors in his hand, and he's shaving the head. And that is going on in that side of the photograph. But on the right-hand side, here's just a poor man lying on a little bench, and it just shows that these people on the left are totally ambivalent of the gent on the right, and he's totally ambivalent of them. And sometimes we exist in worlds like this where we don't pay too much attention to other people. And yeah, I don't even want to go into all of that. In terms of the merit of the image, I hope you separated the 2 concepts. I'm very glad you presented this. To me, what would be a stronger image, though, is focus on the gents and what they're doing on the left-hand side. There's a lot of storytelling on that. And then focus on the right-hand side and tell his story from different angles. And I think your eye won't be bouncing between the 2. But I'm grateful that you did show us the scene, and I still gave it its gold. Thank you very much.
F1 speedboat, Marita for Carlos.
Super color pop. Carlos, I'm just looking at the score I gave you. It's a 12. I think I potentially have done you out of at least a 13 on this image. My apologies, but I see you have got your merit. It's got huge impact. The panning has been handled very well. Your color pop is very good. The boat is in motion, so it's up at an angle. It's very, very interesting. You've got a nice blurred background in the back, and just enough of the spray coming through the motor at the back to obviously cool it and to get that momentum going forward. Very well done. Thank you.
Girl with doves at market in Istanbul.
Yes, like guys, does everybody in your club get to travel? Hey, I'm seeing all these interesting places, and this is street photography, just being present in the moment, capturing people going about their daily lives. And it's fascinating because we're humans. We love looking at other humans, right? And This image has got great appeal. You've got it offset against the wall at the background. You've got the pigeons that are just adding an additional little element. And then you've obviously got the shadow on the ground. In terms of the little girl, she's in a nice dominant position. I would have liked the exposure on her to have been brought down just a little bit. So if you go back, if you look on the back of her shoulder and on the top of her head, it is quite bright. And you're losing some of the detail on the top section there. And that's very easily controllable in your Camera Raw in your Lightroom. Just go and control the highlights. And I may even have been inclined to pull the overall exposure down by just a stop. Now, why would you say that? Because she's walking into the light, and we can see where her foot is literally walking on the boundary of the light. To me, it would just add a little bit more impact. The background is quite dark, and I want to see a little bit more detail on the top of the head, but a nice moment captured. Thank you.
Hallo daar, goud vir Andre.
Henri, you captured a very nice image of this lady, nice timeless image, and her skin coloration. I remember that surrounding, and you actually have rendered a far better skin tone in this portrait against this young lady's face than I managed to do. And so I commend you on that. That's very, very attractive. Lovely toning, beautiful skin work on her face, a nice storytelling image, an old phone. For me, the top of her head is quite dominant, and you've lost a little bit of light on the back there. It would have been closer to a com had you just managed to do a selective mask on there and just lift that little bit of black, because now it almost looks like she's got a little black something on the back of her head. Just go back and try work that one little area. But as far as everything else goes, that's quite nice. Now in portraiture, where your light falls is everything, right? So if you look at her face, and you look at the brightness of her face, and then you come down to those knuckles, and knuckles are horrible. They're light traps, right? And it's not really the most flattering part of anyone. You come down her hand, and it's a big part of your image. That V of her arm is a very big section of your image. So if you want me to stay focused on her face needs to be brighter. So I would pull either a radial mask or a linear gradient equally across the side of this image and tone down the darks, or in Camera Raw, you can go into masking at the moment. Yeah, you can go into masking and get a brush and bring down that hand, those knuckles, that hand, because I see her face. It's beautiful. And I just want to take in that the rest of her body's there and she's not floating. But because it's equal brightness, my face goes from the eye, boom, down to the bottom of her elbow, and then up on that triangle. I don't want to spend time there as a viewer. I just want to know that the arms are there, right? So try that and see if you find it works for you. Thank you.
Horses, goud for Judy.
Yeah, well, beautiful time of day. It's got so much emotion, lots of lovely action coming through. You've got the rim lights as well, and you can see the season, which is fantastic. You can see the dead trees in the background. So in terms of your supporting elements, that works very nicely. 4 white horses, I mean, really, and rim light. How much harder can it be to shoot this with this kind of
Hello?
Tino?
We were breaking a bit. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you now
Okay.
again. Thank you.
Okay. No problem at all. So in this instance, we know that there is no light on the front of them. I don't expect to see the catch lights in the eyes at all, because you understand where the light is, right? So the drama is behind and you expect those lovely highlights outlining the shape on the back of these horses. Beautiful action underfoot, and the horses are galloping. I would have loved to score it even higher. And potentially, I know all that information is possibly there, Judy. Just go back and work on those very bright white areas and see if you can recover even more. If you can recover even more data into them. I wonder how this would look in monochrome as well, because that is not as significant in monochrome because or black and white, we are looking for areas of white and areas of black, and you will have that. So play around a little bit with it and see if you can just manage that overexposure just a little bit better, and that will get you even higher score. Thank you.
Man in Train is a goud for Ingrid.
Ingrid, a very nice portrait indeed. Good idea to render it in monochrome because you've obviously got the whole tonality there. You've got excellent depth of field through your image. You've got some lovely textures. You've got, and this is what I was talking to you about men. So the grittiness of his beard and some areas, a little bit of the smoothness. You've got the penetrating gaze. You've got nice buildup of textures throughout. Everything lends itself. I think this is probably a lot better in monochrome than it would ever been in color. How can you elevate your image, Ingrid, from this 12 gold up into 13 com? Dodge and burn, dodge and burn. If you look at that nose, it is disappearing a little bit into his cheeks, and here on the left-hand side, it's a little bit brighter. So you want to add a little bit more drama into his face and create a little bit more form. And yeah, you're right there. It's right there. It's right there. Thank you.
Call Squid, Benita for Marie.
I have never seen this before. I would love the author to tell me what is actually going on here. I know they're on horses. I don't know what I'm looking at here, what kind of sport this is, but it's got impact. It's got drama. The panning is very nice. There's areas of sharp, and you've got some interesting motion behind. But I find it confusing that they're all pointing in the other direction. I don't quite understand that, but I know you will. And therefore, the only thing that I need to do is say, have you presented this image well? It has been presented very nicely. I like that you've captured something unusual. For a 1-star, just look on the right-hand side at your tail selection if you have darkened down on the background, because your grasses are a little bit brighter on the tail than they are anywhere else. But I still felt it was deserving of a good score. Thank you.
That's
Sorry?
that's called Gymkhana.
I beg your pardon?
It's called Gymkhana, horse riding, where they pick that white things and yeah.
Oh, and do they sync it this way, that all at the same time? Are they all running together, or did you composite this, Maury?
No, it's if you do it in a team, you have to sync it.
Okay, well, you timed it right. You timed it right, and you even ordered the white horse in the middle, right? You couldn't have chosen it better. Well done. As a 1-star, great potential. It's so exciting to see what your juniors are doing. It's lovely. It's more exciting looking at junior images than you do with the seniors, because the seniors, we get trapped in old ways and often bad habits, and we do the same thing over and over, and we don't try anything experimental. So I'm going to phone my horsey friends. Peter Thomas will tell you, when I didn't understand aeroplanes, I phoned him and I asked him for help. So I may be giving you a call to tell me, explain Gymkhana, so next time I judge it, I actually understand what will constitute something special. But well done on your com.
Oupa Sona, goud for Peter.
Yeah, Meneer Thomas, there is nothing that I could teach you ever about taking portraits of dogs. And every time I go on Facebook, you've come up with something even better, and I just really appreciate your work. And obviously, I don't judge knowing who the author is. So in this particular image, I've looked at it. It's got lovely light in the eyes. It's got good exposure on the whites. It's got a nice little offset against the bottom with the little paws hanging over. So in terms of would mommy love this image over her doggy? Yes, she really would. She really would. It's got character, it's got personality. What could have potentially elevated it? Because now it is a dog portrait, right? It's a dog portrait. So maybe a little brush of the hair, right? Unless that's the character and the colorful or his character and his personality that you're trying to get across. But I'm looking at the little bit of grass in the background, and because he is so busy and he's not a show dog where they've groomed him and brushed him, I find my eyes going to the top, it's going down, it's coming to, I'm looking all over your image at this little doggy in comparison with a good, clean, straight portrait. I hope that makes sense. Thank you.
Natasha, what happened here is the lady washed her dogs. She came with 3 dogs, and they were wet when they got to me, so I had to take a photo.
But would you agree with me?
Yes, yeah, totally.
Because your portraits are always so refined. And you know what my first thought was? This is somebody like me who wants a Peter Thomas portrait of his dog, but didn't pay attention to what is going to make that portrait sparkle. Marked it sense.
Yeah, the dog was half wet still, unfortunately.
Yeah, but you know what the reality is? The owner will love this portrait because she brought her dogs to you that way, right?
Yeah.
Right? She will be very happy with this, but you can see your eye wanders all over the show. But when we do portraiture, we make sure that the subject, the person, the animal is presented in their best possible way, not always scruffy. You know what I mean? It can have its character. It can have all of that. But a hairbrush, hello, just, can I brush this? And if she says no, well, that's the best you're going to get, right? That's the best you're going to get. So I hope I've made sense. Does that seem on the money for you, Peter?
Yeah.
I'm always guided by you, right?
Yeah. No, I should have perhaps called it Bad Dog Day or something like that.
Well, I put in a picture of a bird. It was raining. Here's the thing. A couple of weeks ago, I drove all the way to Nels Flair. It was pouring with rain, and I never put my camera away. And the bird, Judy, you'll remember the photograph because I have showed it at Southern Suburbs. The bird's hair was messy all over. And the only thing I could actually do was make a joke of it. Right. And one of the characters, when my name came up, they go, oh, that looks like Natasha. She's always got messy hair. So there you go. The title of your portrait can let the judge understand that this was intentional. So if you say, oh, Barcelona, okay, fine. But had you said scruffy little puppy,
Yeah. Yeah.
it would have changed the dynamic, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. We're on the same.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pretty Bugatti. Oh,
Yeah.
where's the
Sure. I would the name.
yeah,
Who did I see? Was this not Nico? Was it a Nico that won last month that did is it
Yes.
a Nico Patzer? Am I right? Nico? I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, just mine.
Is this am I right, Nico? Okay, there we go.
Yes.
Okay, all right. I tend to have quite a good memory of things like this. Wow. Right. So, first of all, when we're capturing cars, like any other luxury product, and especially luxury products, we want to keep the color tone of it equal. So if we're taking photographs and you understand color theory, if you're taking Wimpy, it's cheap burger, right? They use red. McDonald's, red and yellow, cheap burgers. What else can I think? If you are going to a very expensive steakhouse, or if you are buying a Rolex, anything of value will have the applicable color tone that offsets it, and that is very important. So if you have a bright red Ferrari, if you were going to depict a bright red Ferrari, we're not going to put it on a purple background. And here is where a lot of the success of your images lie, is that you choose an appropriate background to absolutely showcase the beauty of this image, of this car. So what is the beauty of a Bugatti? It's lines. And what is definitive about it is the curvature. So you have the Bugatti in the middle. You've got the bulbs on the side panels. You've depicted all the lines and the shadows with the pops of yellow. You've got beautiful light falling across the grate. It is grounded, so I can see a lovely shadow at the bottom. Yes, it's against a tenebristic background, but that's the challenge because you are containing my eye in this lower portion over here. Sorry, you can't see my hand gestures. I'm so terrible. But you're containing our eye, the viewer's eye, to this is special, that is special. Look at the lines, look at this movement throughout it, and very gently just covering on the top side there. I love that you added in that little bit of light on the top of the image. By means of improvement, could you have taken just an inch off the bottom? I don't want you to go up to the top of your shadow. Maybe just take off before the bottom whiteness starts. Because I'm getting a bit of a double shadow. I think you can see it as well. I would take off that second shadow in this image. Beautifully presented, very well managed, and a pleasure to look at. Thank you.
Shy village boy, out for Nick.
So enchanting, just so lovely. I mean, you know, we've spoken about the about me not really like. In fact, here's one that I haven't seen before: is long panel prints. Is Elsa E. van Dyk at your club? Is she a member here at Brandpunt?
Yes, yes.
I can remember. Okay, I tell you that there's people's images that stand to mind. She's done some long, thin panels of lilies, and that works for that subject matter. But very few subject matter works in very long, stretched panels. But this is a panel and it's out of ratio and it works because you've eliminated what's on the left, you've eliminated what's on the right, you've included the top of the door frame, and I'm not sure what they're eating up there, if that's food or if that's leaves, but it doesn't really matter. It gives me context to the top. I've got these two little boys, they're joyous, they're just behaving the way they do. And that works. Where the magic is in your image, for me, it's an additional element that maybe some people won't see. But there's an adult pair of shoes here, and there's two little boys with two barefoot, and you've got an adult pair of shoes, and you've got a small little red pair of shoes. If those shoes weren't there, it would be less compelling. They are adults. These little boys are alone and they're getting up to the antics, but they are adults in the picture. They're joyful. It's the innocence of youth. I really do enjoy that. I don't know how you shot this image as it's presented. If you're going to show me something that's symmetrical, I don't mind what's in the doorway, but you have cropped off a little bit of that pattern on the left that you've managed to include on the right, and then a little line. So there's only one of two ways you can fix this. And for me, if you're going to present it, you've got to get it right, okay? You either have to crop off so that what you've got on the left is on the right, or if you cropped it and you've got the full door panel on the right, you need to go back and include that. So hopefully you shot a little bit wider and you can do your geometric corrections and then just present. If it's a doorway, if it's a frame, even, you know, you're walking past and you're shooting it fast, try show me exactly the same left and right so that my eye doesn't find the image wanting. Thank you.
Sonneblom, yes, your Elsa. Out for Elsa.
Yeah, Elsa, when I think of you, I really don't know anybody else that captures the beauty and that makes art images of flowers quite the way you do. This is another image that just does not project as beautifully over Zoom. I'm sorry I keep saying this, but I really want your members to know that what they're seeing on Zoom is okay, but it's nothing the way you, Elsa, are seeing this at home, and a lot of the other people that I've commented on. A really standout image. It comes across really, really very pretty. A central composition again, which works quite nicely. You've got a little bit of bokeh in the back, and the beauty of your entire image here is on the marvel of nature and that Fibonacci circle, the spiral, and the way everything will tone in with lines. So I do love your depth of field and I love your soft rendering. It is not a symmetrical photo, and I don't mind that you've decided to include in what's happening on the right. But if this were my image, I would select all the yellows and keep that. I love the light fall on that. And everything that is bright white, especially on the right-hand side here, that leaf, and if you come over to the left-hand side, that very bright other leaf, it's half the light coming through on the other side. I would really try and tone that down, because as I'm looking at it, I want to really stay focused on that central image of all those little seeds. And what it's doing is I'm looking there, it's quickly pulling my eye to the left and then all the way out on the right. I know your Photoshop skills are far superior to mine, and maybe you will consider that and just revisit the image. And I believe it's definitely worthy of higher score. Thank you.
Staring at you. Straight at you, sorry.
No problem. Very, very pretty image, Mareka. Taking pretty photographs of pretty girls will generally get you the right reaction, but anybody can take a pretty photo of a pretty girl when you show me the person's soul. So if you're capturing color, we spoke, you're normally capturing the dress and the clothing, but now you've taken out all color. So now all we're left with is the girl and her expression. So I'm engaging with her and she's just looking directly at you. You've got instant impact. You've got beautiful light falling across. You have given me a little bit of information in her clothing, but her eyes, it's the eyes that are drawing me in, like Mona Lisa, those beautiful eyes that tell a story with soul. I do enjoy what you've done. I think by means of improvement, please try or go back into post-processing, add a little bit more contrast. Now, I don't want contrast on her face necessarily, but that background that she's in at the moment is not quite gray, it's not quite black. Pull that level, just select your subject, just pull your levels a little bit darker so that she really pops off, and you're going to get your certificate of merit thereafter. Thank you.
The art of impact, Marita Verdidre.
Yeah, great, great concept. And your image has got a lot of impact as it comes up. You've got a dramatic splash. Again, it's against a tenebristic background. And then your pop of color. So you've got something that's stationary. You've got the lovely pop of color in between, and you've got the splashes, and you're a 3-star. I like giving people certificate of merit. So all you have to do on this particular image is make sure that you show that all your pixels count towards helping the judge give you the certificate of merit. We want to give it to you. It's not difficult. So in this image, just go back and recrop, and all the space on the left-hand side, it doesn't tell you anything of the story. You need it on the right-hand side for those splashes. So at the moment, you're not in a square crop and you're not in a portrait crop. Now, can you use your little mouse, Albertino? Can you use your mouse on the left? Yes. Crop off that much. Go all the way down, top to bottom. Boom. Get rid of all of that. Down, down, down. Yeah, yeah. And then on the left, on the right-hand side here, look at the furthest splash and go a little bit more towards the right. Yeah, somewhere there. Crop out. And bring this image back to a portrait so that your every pixel that you've got within here is telling you the story. It's just got too much negative space. Okay, thank you.
Where mermaids call, Samarita for Renata.
Yeah, you keep on confirming that Brandpunt is very likely to walk the junior section. I'm really boosting you guys because your work is honestly good, and I don't pay comments. I don't pay compliments insincerely. I love the soft color palette throughout your image. Your composition is very strong. Your textures on your rocks work very, very nicely. And you've used a lovely long exposure to render the water soft and dreamy. I like your 223, that works very nicely. It is quite an expansive view. So by expansive, I mean there's a lot. And I don't really want to toggle between rocks because you haven't specifically given me a leading line, but I am looking a bit to the left and the rock on the right is a little bit bigger. And then you've got something smaller on the right-hand side. So I'm going to suggest, please go back and have a look at this crop and cut out that right-hand section. Just at the start of that small little rock popping out, crop it there, right at the front, all the way up. Yep, yes, give us nice back. Crop that whole section out. to the top. Crop that out. And then if you can just push your magentas and your pinks just a tad more to get a little bit more pop in this image, and the same with your greens, but ever so slightly. It's lovely. Well done. Thank you.
Boat passing Sultana met mosque. Goud for Diane.
Okay, Diane, boat passing the mosque. Okay. Yeah, a very busy scene, but you've got to capture these scenes and you want to tell the stories, and you can see the people. So the people in the background on that pier, that definitely adds to showing a scale. Otherwise, it could be any size, right? So the people going through, that works very nicely. The towers are standing proud, and you've got some nice detail going throughout. This just makes a gold. And the problem is on the right-hand side. I don't know what's happened here. There's a bit of light spill. There's something that has come in. It's not just zoom, it's also on my image. So please go back, and I think you can just crop that out. I don't think you need that. You can, this bottom area is quite white. I think if you crop out 10% on the right-hand side, crop out that whole light spill on there, and you'll have a far stronger image. Thank you. Have we lost you, Albertino? Hello?
Oh, sorry, I muted because I'm coughing a bit. Bridge on the Umhlanga, goud for Trevor.
Okay, Trevor. Yeah, you've taken a nice scene. You're leading us in. You've shown us a little bit of foliage and concrete. So your image is busy. It's busy. There's a lot of texture going on throughout your image, but you have got this concrete, and then it becomes a bit of a wooden deck that leads us through. But there's a lot going on in your image, and that's also got to do with how you use your depth of field, and what you can use to blur a little bit when you're in these very textured images with forms and shapes and lines. You also need a bit of calm. So I do have a little bit of calm. That's okay. Where your image has come down a little bit is it's got high contrast. So it's a little bit tiring to look at, if I can put it that way. There's very dark areas and then very bright areas, and they throughout, the spread is throughout the whole image. But you are starting to isolate the scenes, and again experimenting with monochrome conversions, and that's standing you in good stead. So please keep it up. Thank you.
Thank you. Bubble on a pink flower, goud for Monique.
I don't know if this is the same author, and if you're experimenting with different places to put your bubbles, and try and just do something totally different. I think this one's quite interesting. Remember, with the bubble, you're also reflecting everything that's coming out on it. So in this particular instance, you've almost given us a square crop again, and there's a lot of things going on in your image, right? I do see the bubble. My eye does go straight to the bubble, and then I do see the little hands that hold it up in that pop of pink. But because you've got a lot of elements going on in your image, like this same plant that's repeated on the left, and then in the middle there's the same stalk, it makes for your image very busy and a little bit confusing in terms of where you're going to hold my eye. So if you are experimenting with bubbles, there's nothing that stops you from cutting your subject matter. The other one, I'm guessing you may have had bubble on the bicycle spoke. You can't cut the bicycle, right? But you can cut the plant. So cut the plant, put it against the darker background where all these elements aren't going to draw my eye away, and then experiment with the different reflections that come around. I've given you the 10 for creativity because I like that you're trying something new and something different. And eventually you're going to find where it works for you, and the kind of result that you're looking for. The most important thing is just make sure that everything that is in your image leads you to your central subject, and not these other lines and very bright greens, etc., that pull your eye away. But a well-deserved 10 nonetheless. Thank you.
Die grasdraer, silwer vir Karen.
Karen, I like the image that or I like the scene that is played out in front of you. I think it is telling a good story. You've got a little bit of PJ, well, not a little bit, it is a photojournalistic shot, and it's telling us something about the hard lives of these people. I mean, it's nothing like we are used to seeing. And then you've got that little doggy that's lying on the floor there, and that's got good interest. Where your image has come down, it's a little bit too bright. And just do your geometry on it and straighten it up a little bit, and that's going to give you a higher score. Thank you very much.
Droom verlore, goud vir Marijke.
I said it's easy to take a pretty photo of a pretty girl, but as you advance in your photography and you don't want to tell the same story that everybody else does, you then start practicing with high key, low key, monochrome conversions, conceptual portrait photography. But throughout it all, what you are capturing is emotions. And when you can tell me something about the person I'm looking at, when you can create a soft, gentle piece with curves that you've got that are framing her face and soft focus, it tells the story very well. You've managed this very nicely. Well done on your gold, Marika.
Maiden Tower, goud vir Ingrid.
A nice scene at the right time of day. You've captured lovely clouds in the sky. You've got a very proud tower there. Enjoy the movement that's coming through on your image on the flag, and all the lighting is nice. Nice color pops in this particular image. I do feel there's a little bit too much sky above the mast. I think you can cut out at least 15% to that. And you can see it's that blue hour. If I'm looking on the left where the light is still falling on the mountain. So the transition of light all the way across your image works very nicely. Just by means of improvement, if this boat that's right on the border, it's in blur and there's a very bright area above it. So I wonder if the author would consider coming in a little bit, and where you see Albertino, could you point me? There's two turrets with it. Go to the right, please. To the right. There, just before those turrets, either just before the turrets or just after, because I don't want something very bright on the outside image. So maybe include the mosque. Sorry, come a little bit more to the left. Come to the left, at the left of the mosque, the dome. Yes, maybe that's a right place to cut on the right, just before, after that tall tower. Maybe cut it out there and cut out a little bit of the sky, because all the focus is what's happening here on the right, and the rest is just supporting information. But because this little bit is bright, the mosque on the very edge of your frame, and there's a blurred area here, I'm trying to make out what that is. And you don't want that kind of distraction on such a beautiful image. It would have scored higher. So please, if you agree, try it out. If you don't agree, no problem. Go back and check it out. I didn't see a sensor spot on your image earlier, but I am wondering where you've got 4-star. If you go down, Albertino, go down from 4-star. Yeah, in the clouds there. No, go. Can you see on the clouds to the left? Go down, 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 down. On the left, left, up, up, up. Go up. There's a little sensor spot in the cloud here. It's looking like it, yeah. It's looking like it on my side. I didn't see it earlier. If it is there, just take it out. No problem. Well done on your gold, Ingrid.
Guler and Roy, Marita Fasari.
I've really been looking forward to seeing what you guys got up to in Istanbul, and you have certainly given me a very good taste now that I know that 4 of your Brandpunt members went. So please invite me to your presentation. This particular image, because I'm also a student of Martin's, and I know how excited he was to have these dresses made for you, and how much he told me about your model and your translator ahead of your trip. Has been something that I've really been looking forward to. And this is the first one. And because it's the first, it's got huge impact. And the thing is, those that get it out first will do well. And here you've got it. So very well done to you. I love your placement of the model. I love the flowing of the dress. I love the way, I don't know whether it was intentional or whether you've actually worked on the image, sorry, that you've got a very desaturated background. And so she really is the focus of this image. I think you've managed that particularly well. I would have even given you the 15. What I would do in your image is these 2 points on the edge of her dresses. It looks to me, I don't know, like it's wired or held up or something. I would soften that. It's just falling odd, like it's at a point. Just soften those edges, and that would, for me, given you your full 15. All right, beautifully rendered. Okay, do you agree with me?
Yes, and it was wired. You're quite correct. Yes.
I didn't know that. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Can you see why it's not falling naturally?
Yes, I can see. Yes, I will work on it. Thank you.
Do not give anybody opportunity to take anything away from your image, right?
Thank you.
So now one other thing, because she cannot be PJ. She is a posed model. She's not PJ, right? These on the left-hand side, you've got 3 little pigeons here. Go and crop them out. The other pigeons I don't mind, but I want to see this flow of this dress. Okay, so take out that little triangle that's on the tip of this left dress by those 3 pigeons. I know it seems like a little small thing, but to me, I think it will make a difference. You go and try it, and thank you. First image, and it's beauty. Well done.
Kind van die Gamkaskloof.
Oh, die Gamkaskloof.
Gamkaskloof.
Yeah, a soulful image, Irene. I like that you've rendered it in color. I'm not always a fan of converting children, babies maybe, but somehow children, we need those dirty little faces, the big soulful eyes. This just works. We see so much expression in this child's face. And it's, I can't tell if this is a little boy or a little girl, because at that age, it could be either. They're just so angelic and so beautiful. Their skin is so lovely. Their little characters. I really enjoy what you've presented. How could I have scored your image a little bit higher? So I've told you the good parts of your image, and you're a 3-star. So you on the journey now with portraiture. I'm going to say the same, so I'm not going to repeat it about the arm. Your arms are just parts of our body. They're not the most attractive parts of our body, right? But we don't want to put through a portrait where somebody's an amputee, right? So we want to show the hands. But the hands in this case, your focus was on the face of this child, but that hand is big and it's in blur. So now you want to tone that down. So if you've got people at your club that can show you the right way to tone it down so that this image still retains all the attention, you want to bring down the brightness so that your hands are never the same intensity as what the face is. And it's even more important because it's blurred. So the thing about blurry areas is our eye tries to resolve them. Knuckles always go white. So just find a nice gentle way to pull a gradient that's natural. Your arm mustn't go gray and it mustn't go yellow, it mustn't go funny colors. So do it so that it's natural as much as possible. And as you're shooting and you learn, sure, the last time I put that kind van Gamkaskloof and Natasha said tone down the arm. Yes, it gave me a lot of work in post-processing. The next time you're going to tell a little boy or girl, please put your hands in your pockets. Does that make sense? You're going to find that where you use hands, you make it easy for yourself, but still a very good portrait. Well done.
Mature flower power. Out for Henri.
Henri, you are going to talk to me in a couple of weeks because I judged your image in Creative in Southern Suburbs this past weekend. And it was nice to see somebody doing something creative. I love your concept. I'm just trying to see Mr. Bronze. Okay, Henri, I loved your concept on it. I think it worked very, very nicely. You've got a very creative eye, and I still commented, because I was judging with two other men, and you won't find my name, by the way, on the creative brochure because one of their judges got sick and I stood in for them. But this image came up and it had so much impact. I really enjoyed what you've done. I love your depth of field. I think that worked very nicely. Your flowers are bold, and it's almost got an element of youth against the old, right? What I would do to improve your image is go back and look at her skin tones. She is a little bit yellow. Her hair is going a little bit yellow, and and I had to think about this from a realistic point of view. Even if the person, and I look at my mom and I have got totally different skin tones. And as my mom's getting older, she is getting that almost yellowy, darker skin tone to her. Just lift it a little bit. Okay, lift that a little bit. And then I would consider toning these flowers down, making them just a little bit darker so that those whites don't completely overwhelm the image. But what you've done with that denim jacket and the styling and the concept and your depth of field all the way through, I think it's very good. And I think you're going to be very happy too. Thank you.
One more door. It's a goud for Deirdre.
Is this the Deirdre Schnettler that's also at F-stop? Is it the is there a Deirdre? Are you also
Yes.
in the
Yes,
it's the same.
same lady. Yeah.
Okay, because I know I look at the name now and I know your work, right? I know your work. Okay, good. Nice, a nice subject for monochrome conversion. You've got beautiful blacks and depths and all the tonality in between. And you've given me a very structured image. So what is appearing on the left is perfectly on the right. And you understand that very well. And everything that you've included that has got text, I can read and see it. You have created a very high contrast image, right? So what happens with high contrast images is because you've got so much texture, so much pattern, when you see this on Zoom now, do you find that your eyes going all over? I'm looking at everything. I'm trying to take in all the details. So I'm not resting on the door. I'm not resting on this or on that, on anything. It is busy throughout. So there's nothing that, just the way probably I would approach it is I would pull in a gradient on the left and I would pull in a gradient on the right, and I may even darken it down or blur it slightly, because when everything is so sharp, your eyes are all over. You're not exactly sure where to do it. There's not areas of pause within your image, but you've got so much right details you've got. That's just one recommendation I would make on this image. Try it and please let me know if it was any help to you. Okay, thank you.
Puma upside down, Marita for Carlos.
Very nice. I love that your angle is coming in off the side. You've got good panning on it, or you've focused on the right area and a slow enough shutter speed that you've got the props in place. So we can definitely see that this isn't a little model car. You've actually created an additional element of motion. I can see right into the pit. I can read all the writing. You haven't flipped it, so nothing all that distracting there. If you look in the center of your image to the right, I don't know if it's Zoom. I don't think I picked it up earlier. There's one big white block. Yes, I honestly did not pick it up earlier. I don't know if it's there or if it's just the way Zoom is coming out. Just if it is there, go back and check. It could be Zoom because I am seeing a few other blocks. And then you're a 3-star. I really wanted to give you a merit on this, but you can go back. If you look at your whites at the bottom there, they look quite bright and very close to being blown out. Just pull back the highlights a little bit. But you've given us drama on an angle against blue sky, a nice clean shot. Well done. Are you there, Albertino?
Oh, sorry, I mute myself again. Sorry, Raka, goud for Peter.
Very nice image, Peter. Capturing the soul of the dog. You've got a beautiful rendering on the eyes. That's very attractive. The nose is sharp. And then you've got fall off of focus against the ears and quite a considerable amount down below the chin. Nothing wrong with that by means of improvement. I think a little bit of spot healing on all these little white specks, little bits of dust and skin debris from the little dog. They catch my eye, particularly above the right eye, there in those top eyelashes and against the back. So just a little bit of refinement would definitely help. And then where the area has gone out, like on this left ear, on the right ear, and potentially down in this big area of blue. Okay, sorry, let me rephrase. This big area of blue down at the bottom, I would have cut off that gray, the lighter gray bit. I would have taken off a little bit there because it's at least 20-25% of your image there that my eye isn't rendering. And on the left, where the ear is getting trapped by the light, I would darken that little bit down and potentially a little bit more on the right left-hand side as well. So a lot more dodging and burning into this particular image. And I'm even inclined to say just pull back the exposure a little bit on that eye so that we can see even more detail. Thank you.
Thank you. Resting, silver for Elsa.
The image presents beautifully. It is a very simplistic color palette. It's against the browns and against the darker background there. You definitely have details in your image. Where your image is falling down are the distractions that are in the background. And you will see it between the antenna running all the way down the side, and then the bottom left, and then also on the tip of the wing. Can you see it? Can you show Albertino where the black levels are just coming apart in your image? That is a very simple thing to actually fix. All you would need to do is go and open a new layer and pull your levels. If you pull your blacks, you're going to find that's all going to disappear, and then my eye's going to stay 100% focused. Yeah, you can see it right through the image, because this image essentially is really beautiful. It's just the background that's letting you down here. Thank you.
Snack time, so goud vir Nick.
Yeah, a true PJ image, right? It really tells us a lot of storytelling about where this little child is. It is beautifully offset against the against its environment. And why? Because the red really pops out of its environment. So you've got lots of storytelling, the child's doing something, it's in this overgrown bushy area, and you can see the primitive transport methods that you've got wherever this child lives and wherever it is in that area. It's a poignant storytelling image. Thank you.
Up and away, Marita van Nico.
I enjoyed your image. I think you've got the helicopter nicely offset. You've filled up the frame very well. Good shutter speed, nice detail. And then the clouds, we're so used to seeing a lot of these images against very, very blue skies. This feels authentic to me, and it obviously gets its appropriate score. Thank you.
That was the last one of the open. I just want to go and switch off our generator, because I see Eskom is back on again, and I'll be with you in a minute or two. Okay.
Okay. Can we use the time productively? Has anybody got any questions? Was I wrong on anything? Did I miss anybody's image that you would like to question something? Don't all be shy.
I think, Natasha, we really appreciate your commentary, or what do you call it, on the photos. It's really, we learned a lot tonight, and I think it's excellent. Thank you very much for very positive commentary on our photos. Yes.
Sorry, it's very easy to comment on a good photo. I can't take any credit. A good photo, it speaks for itself. It's commenting on difficult photos. Where the images may be not difficult photos, where the photos maybe I don't understand the story. You can only judge it on very few things, on impact, on color, on technical. I'm not a great technical photographer. I think you can not it. Look, don't get me wrong. It will help you to know your camera and how to maximize everything out of it. But I think sometimes we get so caught up in the rules that we forget that we just want to make pictures. We just want to make beautiful images. So if you are in the field and you're not getting what you're wanting, I often go and I think, why am I struggling so much on manual? And I'll turn it to auto and I'll take a photo and okay, maybe it's overexposed, but I'll look on the back of the camera and it says, oh, f2.8, 1/25 of a second, ISO 400. Oh, okay, but I was on ISO 100. Oh, okay. And I use that as a base point. You know, I'll go back. So I'm not a great technical photographer, but I can edit. I can save myself maybe, let's say, a little bit in editing, but I want to take photographs more than I want to sit behind the computer and make bad images good, right? So the most important thing is that we just enjoy our photography. And I think the only way we enjoy our photography is by looking at more people, by finding the people whose work you really enjoy, who you can look up to. And you've got great mentors at Brandpunt. You have got excellent photographers in so many genres. As a niche club, as you are, I can say you only Zoom. Some of you are long distance as well. You've got to find ways to get together and enjoy each other and spend more time together so that you inspire one another. I mean, every image, I'm blown away by your 1 and 2 and 3 stars. The work, if you don't show me the star rating, I'd say, wow, it's as good as any 4 or 5-star worker. Are you back, Albertino? Is somebody still taking out all my hotspots here?
Yes, yes, I'm back. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay, that was the last of the open. So we're going to jump into nature now.
How are we for time? Am I talking too much? Do you want me to go a little bit faster, less detail?
That's fine. No problem.
Are you okay? All right.
Yes. Okay. In the nature, there's 13 images. And I think on the set subject, there's around about 22. So we're a bit more than halfway already.
Okay. And what time are you normally finished your Zoom meetings?
Just before 12.
Jy lig. Listen, you got to be careful. I can talk about photographs all night long. Be careful what you offer. Okay. 1-star image. Man, oh man, oh man. Okay. I think potentially you may have been out, had a point or two underscored on this particular image because it really presents nicely here. So let me tell you how all I need to leave the evening. Okay, do you record the evening, Albertino? Do you share recording?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Cheers, Deirdre. Okay, no problem. Okay, so here's a 1-star Mari, and you are, you know what I should have actually given you an extra 3 points because I see you shot the bird in the rain. And I love that because I always think the first thing we do is protect our gear and put it away. And there's so many images that don't get presented. Wet fur, wet feathers. It's just lovely. So well done on taking that. You now have the challenge of challenges, right? You've got a very fast bird. You've got the bride and the groom. And by the bride and the groom, I mean, you've got a white bird with black as well. So do you expose for the whites so that you don't blow them out? Do you expose for the blacks so there's more detail? How do you get the light in? Once you've blown the whites, and it's quite evident in your image, if you look down, well, throughout your image, the whites, there's a few areas where you've lost the detail between the beak and the eye and under the chin and on the side. And, you know, does it really matter? No, because I've given you a gold, and some judges would say, no, you need a silver because you've overexposed it. It's very difficult, and it will come with time, and you still see it, and I still do it, and just watch your exposure on the whites. Okay, you've got the capture, you've got light in the eye. This bird is on a beautiful perch. There's no blown areas. You've got light coming in from the left. Everything is begging me to give you a high score on that. Please just watch your whites going forward. And I actually think a different judge on a different night may well even have overlooked those whites. But if I say that to you now as a 1-star, you are never going to go out and watch those whites. So when you see that white bird or the pads and that, you have to shoot under so that when you come back into camera raw, you can actually pull up your exposure just to the point before you clip your whites. Then all your detail is in there. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you. Cormorant, out for Marinda.
Yeah, nice image of this cormorant. You've got nice feather detail. You've got the cormorant on a nice perch. There's nothing blown out. It's also to your favor that the perch they're on is not filled with poop, because normally that gives you these big white blobs, which draws the judge's eyes. So nice that it's a clean perch. I do enjoy that you've got it on a diagonal. Do you need so much space on the right-hand side? He's quite close to the left, and you've cut him very close to the top. So now when you filled him close on the left, but very, very tight on the right, you've got to somehow visually balance it. And I think your balancing would be to crop above this little sticky out bit. Just go slightly above it and crop off that 20% on the right-hand side. And if you are able, try and work out that bright area coming from behind. Now, the interesting thing is we worry about the whites. What about those blacks down at the bottom? Because they're very dark. Well, if you understand light, you know that the bird is creating its own shadow. There's no light that's potentially going to come in under those feather details, particularly when it's wet. So as an experienced birder, you know that's as good as you're going to get it. There'll still be some people who say, I wish you'd lifted the darks a little bit. So play with your levels and play with your shadow slider. And if you can get just a little bit of light to separate that, as we're looking at it, that left webbed foot with the feathers on the background, that would help you as well. Well done.
Elephant, out for Judy.
A very pleasing image. Look at the composition of it. You've got a dominant, probably female, and then underneath it you've got the rest of the herd, and they're all in motion drinking, and their trunks are curved in. So there is good placement, there's activity, there's position. You've got even light in the eye, which is really difficult to get. And then you've got some super, super texture detail on the right. I like your crop on the right-hand side because all the beauty and the storytelling is right here in the front. How your image could have scored a little bit higher. There's just two things in this particular image. On the left-hand side, the environment is very, very bright. Difficult. You will know if you're able to control it. But what it does is, yes, it offsets the elephant, but it also keeps drawing my eye up into that top corner. And then you've just got to watch your sharpening, because in your processing. Hello? Okay.
Sorry.
No problem. Is it a question? You got a question? No? Okay.
No.
No problem, Ingrid. In your processing, from the top of the top head, on that crown of the head, you can see a fine halo all the way around under the trunk. Just be careful of that, okay? Still very pretty. Well done on your gold. Thank you.
Firepower. Goud for Gemma.
Yeah, these red hot pokers and aloes make for very, very pretty images. And you've got one that's standing proud. So well done on that, Gemma. Flower photography. And in fact, to all the juniors, at this stage, I encourage you to shoot everything. Shoot the flowers, shoot the hohos, go out, shoot the planes, shoot the dogs, shoot people. If you love photography, shoot it all, because somewhere along the line, you're going to find your voice and you're going to say, I really love shooting people. And then you'll very seldom go out with flowers. Or if you become an Elsie van Dijk, you'll say, yeah, I love flowers and I want to concentrate all my efforts into flowers and nature. And so now you're experimenting everything and you're enjoying, and it's all going to form the basis of your enjoyment of photography. So what you have managed to do is, to a fair extent, isolate this poker on the top, and you've got a little bit more of background information in your image. It's important from every star level that you understand what overexposure is, because what overexposure does, and that's bright areas, we call them hotspots, or areas where you lose detail. They not only take detail out your image, but they draw your eye away. So once I've looked at this middle center, I'm coming down and I'm seeing all these little petals which have lost detail. And then I go down to that one cacti spiky thing, and it's very, very bright. So try and focus the viewer's eye to the bright areas and eliminate everything else. So on the top there, you'll see under your name or under the flower, there's a very white spot, and to the right here. And what you generally have to do with all things that you want texture and details on is find the right time of day. No matter what kind of photography you want, light is everything. Your first consideration to get the best quality image, to have enough detail to work with, is shoot at the right time of the day. Okay, and is there a right time? No, there isn't. Subject matter dependent. But if you shoot early morning, you'll get the right results for the right subject matter in early and late afternoon, because straight overhead light or very, very hard light often doesn't help you in these kind of distractions. But for what you did with a bit of darkness in the background and that isolation, I enjoyed your image. Thank you.
I love my mom. Goud vir Gerard.
I thought you were going to say, I love this flower, and I was going to agree with you. Hundreds. Okay, what have you got for us here? Yeah. Gerard, you know, it's an endearing scene. Look what you've captured. You've captured connectivity, interaction. It's not just a portrait of one, and these guys are quite ugly. So now you're showing us some interaction between the two. There's a mom and there's the little youngster. You've managed your whites very nicely, and you've used the nice good depth of field on your image to a little bit more contrast in your image would definitely bring out some of the darker tonings. And at 4-star, I'd like to see a bit more form. So do a bit of dodge and burn. Always, an animal is also a portrait, right? So you want to do a bit of dodging and burning on the darker areas and lift some of the lighter areas. And that's where you're going to get form, and you're really going to separate your image from the background and make it pop off the screen. Thank you.
Incoming Kingfisher van Jan Roos.
Yeah. Very good moment. Very, very good moment. You've got the outstretched wings, fine feather detail, water drops, good perch, beautiful water background as well. I'm looking at the water and I'm feeling that to get this little bit of an angle, the author may have either shot it at a bit of a diagonal, but that water is not lying 100% straight. If you see, it's tilting down to the right-hand side. Does it worry me? It does worry me a little bit, because it forms the base of where those tails go into. So it's almost like the halo on the water, right? And my eyes led there when I see the bird, the impact is there, the beautiful wing extension, and then I see the water drops and I go down, and then I see the water, whoops, is sloping a little bit down to the right. I'm wondering if you had enough space on the left hand to straighten it up a little bit, although I do agree it does look better on the diagonal, but getting that water right would help me. And now here's the thing. When you are very tight on the left-hand side with the wings, how much space is right? When I say right in inverted commas, how much space do I need on the right-hand side? Because my left is really tight. So why not take more of that space out? Because the bird is looking straight down. Do you need, I don't know, 2 inches, 3 inches? I think you've got a good 5-6 inches. That I would crop away. And if this were my image and I could straighten it out, get the water right, I'm going to see you're going to be right tight on the edge. I'm going to make it exactly the same tightness on the right-hand side, so it looks 100% intentional. And then I would have loved to give you your com. I still think it's a fine capture, good action. Thank you.
Lioness, goud vir Renate.
Oh, so nice to see Renata. Hey? And the thing is, the lions, every creature in our God's universe is made with camouflage in mind, right? They were created to perfectly hide in the environment. So it's not just a portrait that you've captured of this lion. You're telling us its environment, where we're likely to find it, and why other animals don't see this predator in the bush. going forward, would this do well in a salon? Probably not, because what they're going to tell you is, gosh, oh, there's a line in there. Oh, okay, but your depth of field, it's probably F8. All the sticks are a little bit distracting. Branches everywhere. That's fine. You captured the line and you've captured it well. You've rendered it in good light. The eye detail's not too bad. I'm quite a stickler for authentic eye edits. You haven't over pushed it there and made it these glaring orange, Fanta orange eyes. So that's still nice bush edit. As you go and you get more time in the bush, experiment if you have the lenses with shooting f4 if you have it. I don't have lenses that shoot f4. So this is typically the kind of nature image that I will put out. But I know we judge nature on Saturday at Southern Suburbs, and busy backgrounds, they do worry them. But as a 2-star, you're learning all the rules, you're capturing it, you've got it in frame, and I think it's well deserving of its gold. Thank you.
Standoff, Marita vir Wynand.
Okay, so here's the thing. You know, the fact that you've got interaction between two birds, you've got the gesture of that bird on the top against this little, almost like, what do we call these? Guinea fowls, right? Ja, tarantal in Afrikaans, but guinea fowl. It's almost like a domestic chicken, right? It's like a chicken, and the chicken is standing its ground, and you've got this huge, imposing eagle. And I mean, what chance does this little it's almost like a cheeky. The storytelling is so profound. You've got beautiful depth of field. Look at your separation in this image. You've got a lovely little baseline. I know you are using good equipment, Wynand. And a shot like this is superb. You didn't plan it. What would I do? You've got fine feather detail, you've got engagement, you've got good color saturation. I would pull this exposure, I'd pull your highlights down a little bit and pull the exposure almost a full stop down. Forgive me, I did try it. I don't get images like this myself ever. Please go and just pull the exposure down a little bit. And Brandpunt, whoever your selectors are, I'm going to park it right there. Great. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you. Dis nou genoeg, Silver, vir Gerard?
Shame on me. Yeah, poor tired mommy. Lovely storytelling. Again, it's the interaction between the little one. And you know, we've got that cute factor, right? So this little bookie here, we're seeing them do something, they're in the environment. The same kind of comment will apply. I see you apply the sliding scale. So I don't know where your 10, 11, 12s come in and whether it applies a gold or a silver. But unfortunately, in this instance, there are two things that are letting your image down a little bit. At 4-star level is, and what could you actually really have done? Because you cannot have separation from where you saw the animals right up against this grassy background. Unless you have a prime lens and you're able to shoot in that eye at 2.8, you are still going to render elements of sharpness within your image of the foliage. So that's the first thing. It's a restriction of the scene that was presented in front of you. That's not always within your control. That's first. And second is your gear restriction. And then the other thing I think that could have helped your image a little bit is if you pull your levels, maybe just on the selective eye, and just see if we can get a little bit of life into that eye, Gerard, a little bit more detail rather than being, their eyes are big bucks, right? Because they always need to see what's going on around them. Just show me a little bit of light in that eye, and that would have made it more appealing and engaging. Thank you.
Gewone bondrokkie, goud vir Marinda.
Very nice image, Marinda, and well presented too on these pampa grasses. It's beautiful coloration. I think that's worked out very nicely. You've got good separation between the background. In fact, there's no distraction whatsoever. Good quality, fine feather details between. In terms of impact, this is the problem with little brown birds. Your impact is a stationary bird. Yes, it's got a catch light. Yes, you're seeing the fine feather details with a little bit of flower foliage. Had the whole flower been a little bit more colorful, that could have elevated. Time of the year, had the bird spread its wings, had some of its hair come up. In terms of getting your gold, yes, you've got it. But what would elevate it to a calm? Not such a static image, even though it's a good image. It's just what can take my image up to the next level that can get me a little bit of movement, something in the mouth, a little bit of wing detail, perhaps its color. All of that elevates your image. Is your image sound as presented? It is worthy of its gold too. Thank you.
Having a fight, goud for Jan.
Yeah, Jan, here we go. So if you can apply this to the image previously that came up, and we were talking about, is it enough, maar dis net 'n voeltjie op 'n stokkie? Why not? If there's something and it's really a very good rendition, why not? But when it comes to salons, and you are judging nature, okay, this time we never had birds in Southern's category. So we had birds come up in the nature category. So it was double. But when you're just judging birds, you've got to remember that you've got at least 900 images of birds. So is that voeltjie or pastockie really going to be stronger than an image like this, where we're seeing full wing extension, like the pied before? 2 images before, full wing extension, we're seeing light underneath, we're seeing patterns, we're seeing bird behavior, good perches, good solid backgrounds. Not really. Okay, so what's good in this case? Good interaction, lovely coloration on the rufous, the little fine feathers, he may have been preening itself and it was a little bit startled or something flew by, and that obviously adds an additional element. Okay, so why the 11 out of 15 then? Areas of overexposure, 5-star. If you watch underwing, it is so difficult. You've almost got to plan when you're seeing that bird. You've got to hope that it lifts its wing. And the more you know the birds and the animals that you're shooting, you will know it's white underwing. So you've got to prepare for that and underexpose a little bit. And how else can you see it's overexposed? Well, the blacks are almost going a little bit gray. So a little bit of loss of detail on the whites, and a very, very bright perch. That's one thing. How can you fix that? You can go back, change your white, see if you can, if you don't have enough detail, try and brush it, just so that that white doesn't draw my eye on that edge of the primary wings and feather. And same with your levels, put your blacks down a little bit. It's a personal preference. I do not like nictitating membranes on the eyes. It creeps me out. I've never marked down for it, but when I'm editing my own images, that little film that goes open and closed on the bird's eye to protect the eye, it just freaks me out as a viewer. And those images I don't present. It tells its story. I'm not saying it's wrong. It tells its story on this, and it's not a judge's bias. I'm just giving you one different opinion. Can you see it almost makes the bird look blind, that blindy look? So you don't often get a catch light. It is animal behavior, so we don't mark it down. That's just some information. My final point on this particular image is why the need for 2/3 of your image just to be grass, the background, this green, this bush. Did you need that much? No, I don't think so. Is it adding? Does it help me appreciate your bird? Did your bird need that much space to fly into? I don't think so. But again, that's a personal preference. If this image were mine, I would flip it the other way. I like an image where the action happens in the last third. So here I've got if I start on your image as we read a story, I open the first page and I see your pink on the left hand side, and I'm going and it's all the same, green, not adding an, oh, there's the bird, but I actually don't read it that way. There's so much of this background that I don't even pay attention to it. I look at your bird and I go, okay, here's a few things, but then I go to the left and I'm like, what else is there? There's a bit of spot of color here. Does that spot of color add to your bird? No, it doesn't. It actually draws my eye away. Flip your bird over so that it's now on the left-hand side, and have all the action leading you to the right-hand side of the frame, and cut at least half of this away, half of this greenness. Unless you are in advertising or in publications where you are going to use this for the cover and the rear of the book, all of the space doesn't add any more info into your bird image as presented. Thank you.
Liftoff, Marita van Wynand.
Aha, now we get something a little bit similar, but again, a bird, liftoff. Okay, what have we got in this particular image? Again, lots of environment. You've got some nice blues, you've got some nice foliage detail, and you've got areas of sharpness, and on that little bird, you've got some wing movement. That works very nicely. Your bird, in relative to the entire image, is quite small in the frame. So what are you drawing my eye to? The little pops of yellow or that bird? And it's not a plain Forky, right? It's got a little bit of rufous. So you need to help the viewer or the judge of your image really. It's like, how do you get more juice out of a lemon? I don't know, the ladies will know. How do you get more juice out of a lemon? You microwave it, and when it's hotter, it releases more juice, and you cut it, and you will obviously then squeeze it. How can I get more juice out of your image? How can I really make the audience connect? You've got color, you've got environment, you've got motion in the wings. Your exposure is very nice. Yeah, you could have done a little bit of dodge and burn, but that's okay. It's bright. You've got a catch light. Well, bring me in closer to your bird. So you've got 30% of blue sky above it and all the way right through your whole image. So for me, I would cut off at least 25% of all that blue. Take your own hand and cut off 25. Nothing in there is adding another bird, something interesting. Cut it out, get rid of it. Cut it out and come here to where one little flower looks like a sunflower. It's got a bit of brown and a bit of yellow. Boom, cut it right there. That's enough space for it to fly into. More than enough space. Now, depending on how much space you've left at the front, behind the bird, you've got that bright yellow. Oh, cut that out. You don't need that. It's beautiful foliage and flowers and the environment, but what is your story about? The bird. So don't give me the option to move my eye all around your image. Crop it right out. There's a little yellow, so where the bird has just flown off that stick standing up, there's a little bit of yellow there. I would cut down halfway there and crop in a little bit tighter so that you lose that kind of sunflower on the left-hand side. You will bring me closer to your bird and I'll be able to appreciate the details even more. I do enjoy it. And forgive me, I see I've given you way too much info for a 1-star because your image is lovely. But all of these things we all learn on everybody else's images. Thank you.
Thank you. A bit of itchiness, goud for Marinda.
Nice. Nice storytelling, Marinda. And again, strong subject matter. Very, very strong subject matter on an easily identifiable zebra. We all know it's a zebra. You don't have to show us the whole zebra, but you've got it in and it shows very well. It presents very well. Non-distracting background. Unfortunately, for this image, okay, no, forgive me, that's the wrong word to say, unfortunately. I like your gesture. You've got light in the eyes and those claws coming up adds to the strength of your image. Master Bronze, your sliding scale is heavily weighted against the higher workers. So yes, you're getting your gold, but watch your areas of white that are a little bit overexposed. And then down at the bottom, you've really got to decide how much blue. So had you used 5-6, maybe 5-6 would not, you've got to keep the foot in on the back of the zebra. So I can understand why you've got the more down at the bottom, but it's a big area of blue down underneath the actual, on the zebra's hair standing up on the bristles. It's a rather big area and you can't actually crop that all out. So had you shown maybe this front layer a little bit bird and the one where the leg is in a little bit sharper, I think your base would have been stronger. Please go back and see if you can pull your white, your highlights down a little bit and bring in a little bit more detail there and do some dodging and burning on your image. I'm pretty sure you probably do, but I think it can do with just a little bit more dodging and burning to really bring out the separation across the bird. Thank you.
Thank you. That was the last image of nature. we're gonna go to the set subject, which is human interest. So
Okay,
this
so we
is
never stop learning, right? I beg your pardon, did I interrupt you, Albertino?
no, not at all.
Were you gonna read the definition of human interest?
Menslike belang.
Okay. So this this one caught me off guard, and we're all friends here. I can tell you, I what I did last night is I got your subjects, or last week. Diane gave it to me, and she said human interest, and I thought human interest with manipulation. That seems a little bit strange to me. So I asked her, sorry, how did you describe this to your members? It came back. I thought, okay, got the images from Albertino last night. And I went and Googled human interest, okay? And human interest, if you go by Google's definition, is very different to what PSSA. Human interest for Google says it focuses primarily on capturing emotion, stories, expressions of people in a candid manner. It means you can't use staged models. You can't use a model that's posed, right? And then it obviously includes everyday activities, fine, like children playing or people. It can record historical events, and it focuses and includes emotions. But there's one thing it must contain, and that is the humanity of the moment, the human aspect of the moment. And actually, surprisingly enough, human interest falls traditionally under photojournalism. So photojournalism will then throw out a lot of the model portraits. It will throw out anything that hasn't got a human being in, like a landscape. Okay. So I thought, oh, okay, all right. And I started judging your open category as if that was your set subject. Well, did I get myself into an absolute tiz? So when I spoke, oh dear, Marinda, you're disappearing. Okay, so I remember I called Diane today and I said I'm a little bit confused, and I said some of your images in your category C are actually far better for your theme, and that's when we discovered, hello Natasha, category C is the theme. So forgive me, I was a little bit dwarfed today, and as I say, we never stop learning. We never stop learning, and I learned something from your club, and I'm learning on all the images. Because this category at PSSA, all their description is human interest, manipulation is allowed, an image that depicts a person or people in an interactive, emotional, or interesting situation. And I think you all understood the brief very well. So, first image by Henri, poignant, emotional, simple color palette, browns, blues, greens. His face is hidden. That's quite important to me, that his face, it tells a story. He's not communicating with you. You didn't sit there in front of him and say, sorry, won't you just lift your hat? I just want to see your eyes. I feel very strongly about exploiting the poor, the hobos, the homeless, the downtrodden. The people are really suffering in society. I find it very difficult for me to go and take a photo of somebody. So stepping back and taking a photograph from a distance, I think it still gives them their dignity. And you've handled this very nicely, Henri. Well done. Good image. Thank you.
Delta, Marita for Judy.
Yeah. Checks all the boxes, a clean portrait. The placement of the hands works so beautifully. Daddy's hand encompassing, mommy is supporting. You see the ring, which is actually important because, you know, traditionally we all want to see this as a loving husband, wife. Mommy's kissing the little tootsies. The thing about Zoom, if you were sitting in a club now, we would all be going, oh, sweet. And the minute you hear that, you know you've nailed that portrait, right? So the things I like, I've described: good interaction, beautiful little baby protected. The things I think that you can improve on is go back and have a look at your white balance on this particular image. It came across as quite yellow to me. That may well be your intention that you've toned it with sepia, but I think you get a lot more natural skin color out. I think it would serve it. It's not so red, not so yellow, and I would have scored you even higher to a 14 on this particular image. And then when you are shooting black, make sure that you show some details in the blacks. I can see a little bit on the daddy, but down at the bottom here of his shirt, and certainly on mommy's shirt, I want to see a little bit more texture. So pull up your levels ever so slightly, and you would have nailed the shot. Thank you.
Die familiebed op die stoep met die rooi deur, Marita vir Karen.
Poignant. Tells a story, and the more you look at it, the shoes under the bed, the goat on the bed, the two kids with the mommy, you know, the mother's sitting there, but she's not taking up any space, right? All of these little elements, when you're looking at an image and you're appreciating it, it's got to make you question your own existence in the world, right? They have very little, next to nothing, but there they are. They're colorful, they're surviving, and look at the ornate. So you look at sometimes the poverty of a situation, the humbleness of it, but amidst that environment, they still carve their doors. They still look for the beauty in their lives. I think it's got very beautiful storytelling. Well done, Karen.
Echoes of the Street, goud vir Lucia.
Gee, Lucia, you are very brave to go and take this image, because this oak, he looks like he's had a very, very rough night. And you're again another poignant storytelling image. Hard life on the streets, and you are not sugarcoating it at all, and neither is he. So that's telling a sad story to me, by means of improvement. It's a PJ shot. I don't mind that you've cut off his foot. I don't care that it's all skew and that your lines aren't, you haven't centered your lines. Irrespective of the technical aspect, I think having less light on the top of his head would have made us connect with him even more. So just pull down your exposure ever so slightly so that the top of his head isn't quite so bright. Thank you.
Feeding time for rescue donkeys, 'n goud vir Monique.
Yeah, Monique, a little bit of storytelling in your image. The animals are easily identifiable, and your title certainly does give us the information. Would this do well if you're going to put it into a competition or into a salon? Probably not. And I think your score really does give you the understanding of that, because you've told a bit of a story. We can deduce this is all hay around them. We can count the donkeys, but we're not really engaging with any one of them. They've all got their bums to us. Is that all that interesting? Not really. Had just one, and you've got quite a dominant one here with his ear, and this one on the right-hand side, had he turned and looked at us, had you just called him, I don't know, pull out some grass and try get one of them to look at you, that would have elevated your image somewhat. If you look on the left-hand side here, I can see the tracksuit pants of maybe the caregiver, maybe somebody. Now, if that person is in the image, everything you include in the image must tell me more about what you want to focus my eye to. So I've got a little bit of a triangle legs and holding a handbag. No, something's not working on that side. So we lose attention. And this kind of image, you won't ever be able to enter into a salon, because they're domesticated animals, maybe in open color. But if you really want the impact of it, the story isn't this side. You need it to go around the other side, not show me the fence if you were able, or eliminate some of that and shoot from against the fence, looking in this way, if that makes sense, facing the animals, because you would have also had the light on the other side, and you could have captured more light in. I hope that helps you.
Game over, Marita vir Marie.
Yeah. I found this image hugely impactful with the emotion. It's just team spirit. You know, you look at it and in my mind, I know what the story is. She's the goalkeeper. They've lost the game. She let a goal go through. And these are her two friends going up to her and saying, hey, man, it's okay. Don't worry. Don't worry. It's okay. You know, it's not the end of the world because remember, she's just the end stop. Everything leads up to her. But because she's the last stop, she now feels the whole weight of this game. Game over. There you go. You know. And so I found that compelling storytelling that worked very nicely. As a 1-star, super beautiful interaction. You've caught at a very emotional kind of time. By means of improvement, just watch the skin tones. They're quite yellow in your image, and you can just pull that color down in hue saturation and just bring in a little bit more magenta. Even though, you know, I can see there's bright light coming through and you've got a good understanding of how to darken backgrounds. Just always try go for authentic skin tone because then we tend to connect with it even better. Super image, very well done, and congrats on your merit.
Helpende hand, goud vir Wynand.
Oh, yeah, precious. It's really precious, right? Profound storytelling. It's somebody, maybe the caregiver, maybe the mommy, you're showing scale, this big hand, relative, you're comparing two things, a human with another human, an elderly person with a newborn, a baby, what's a dad, maybe a granddad, and that tiny little hand, which is so helpless, so new, so beautiful, so new, and so profound. Makes for very nice storytelling. It could also work in monochrome if you want to just give it a try. Have a look there. You've got some black and white dots at the background. If you are able to, this on the right-hand side, wherever they've written on the sheets that this belongs to Alberton Life Hospital or whatever down there, eliminate anything that distracts and that you can clone out, and on the top left-hand corner as well. I don't want anything that doesn't focus my attention straight to the hand on the top. Thank you.
Isak van der Rust, Marita vir Irene.
An environmental portrait. And so here you've got a little bit more information because there's something happening in the background, either the environment the man lives in or the area or the shop or perhaps part of his workshop, and it's quite desaturated. So it doesn't compete, but what it does is it elevates the image from just pulling him into a studio, putting him against a plain background, and now you've got a post shot. I almost feel like, Irene, maybe you walked past this gentleman and you saw a wonderful photo opportunity and you just took his image, or he was sitting there waiting, or something was happened, but you've captured a timeless portrait. Well deserved on your merit, and I also think that you could consider converting this into monochrome. I think with the textures and the shapes and patterns, that can all work very nicely. The hand at the bottom is dark enough for me. Now, anybody's hands, we are light on the palms and we light on the inside of our arms. That is our skin melatonin and our pigment that comes through wherever the sun gets it. But if you compare the browns in his face to the grays and whites on the hand, the whites of the hand, especially of the inside, they get more attention than the hand. So again, work that down. You're a 3-star or somebody in your club, work it down, pull down a little bit of a gradient, or use a brush in Camera Raw and put on a mask and just paint, see if you can paint that down, just so that the light isn't caught on the hand. That draws my eye. And you would have got your 14 very easily from me. But as a 13, I think you can know that you've got a very good portrait in this image. Thank you.
Selling seeds, goud vir Ingrid.
Yeah. And again, storytelling, right? I mean, we don't see this in Joburg. We've got other little shacks put up, but it is so interesting to see how different cultures do things. Yeah, he's also got his little box. He's also a little street vendor, and he's contained within the scene. The fact that you've included the pigeons on the right, he's not slap bang in the middle, so it's interesting. And the red pop, the textures on the wall, he's not looking at me. So I'm just a casual walker by, and I think you got a good photograph in it. Thank you.
Living on empty promises, Marita Ferranata.
Yeah. And this is what we say about why elderly people make good subject matter. A newborn baby, his skin is smooth and precious and doesn't tell the scars of time. It doesn't tell you anything about the journey that little baby's going to take in the future. It's this perfect little creation. And then you see an elderly gentleman or an elderly lady or somebody living on the streets, and we see the character. And when you do images like this, you capture the soul of a person. The clothes don't matter. You haven't accentuated it here. You've got lots of detail on the skin. Some judges might say, look, your background's a little bit white. What a pity. You know, I think for 2-star, you've captured him in a good moment. You could still pull down a little bit of your highlights to maybe control a little bit of the shine. More especially is be careful of the halos when you over sharpen on your images to get that little bit of grisliness and the clarity coming. Be very careful if you look over his ear that you don't introduce halos. Okay, as a 2-star all the way around his face, actually, and that's areas of contrast where you've just pushed your sharpening or your clarity button just a little bit too far. And unfortunately, you normally only know that when you get to the end of your edits, right? And also look around the top of your hat. Just go back in your editing. There are ways that you can remove this. It's a white halo. You can create a duplicate layer. This is being recorded. Create a duplicate layer and darken your blending mode, just darken it on the top layer, and then take a clone brush. It is a long and tedious job for me, but I find it generally yields the best. I will clone that small area with a very small brush on the base layer. On your bottom layer, I would clone where it has next to it, just next to that halo. I will clone a little sample area there, and then I will go onto my duplicate layer with the blend mode changed to darken, and I will just paint in slowly, small little areas, and paint out that halo if you've already flattened this image. And that will help you. Just watch out for that going forward. But in terms of mood, character, and a good portrait, you definitely got it. Thank you.
Thank you. Lonely Walk Home, goud vir Gemma.
Yeah, I like the effect that you've got here, that you've got a little bit of blue with the card, almost gives that back BMW some motion, and this character in the front who stands quite proud, and that you've obviously also contained it. There is a natural frame here on the left and the right between the two pillars, Gemma. So well done on that. You're trying something different. I hope wherever this is that you're safe. You know, it looks like you may be standing in a town area or something. So just always make sure that you're safe in terms of security. And I can see that you have darkened down your background. So if you look between his jeans, towards the top there, that road area, between the legs, don't always rely on subject selection. You have to actually open up your image and zoom in quite close so that when you do the area selections, you darken down between fingers, between hairs, and in this instance, between the legs of your pants. All right, otherwise that would have scored you a little bit higher too. Thank you. Oh, sorry, I beg your pardon, a little bit of contrast. Your image does look a little bit of haze, a little bit hazy. So had you pushed a little bit of contrast, that would have helped you too. Thank you.
Thank you. Lost in This Big World, the silver for Jan.
Yeah, Jan, a simplistic scene. You've got this little child, and the first thing that came to mind is, I wonder if this is something like Sani Pass, where you go up there and you've got the mountains in the background, and they wear the Lesotho blankets, or if it just happened to be the area that you're in. It is quite imposing, and your extensive 60-40 base separation makes the little girl seem quite diminutive in the scene, and that works very nicely. The reason for your silver and the lowest score is that it's quite bright. So you've got this rock in the foreground, which is centrally placed, and it's blurred and it's bright on the top. And then you go forward and that background is quite bright. And then you've got the other elements going up the mountain and obviously on the top of the head. So you're losing a little bit of connection in terms of getting your exposure right so that the focus stays all on the little girl. Thank you.
Love for nature is food for the soul. Silver for Marinda.
Master Bronze. Okay. The thing about perspective in huge animals is that we're not really used to seeing the interaction, right, between a giraffe and this little girl. So you look at it and you go, oh, that's strange. Look how big the comparison is between the giraffe and between the little girl, and that's good storytelling, right? And obviously the giraffe is sitting down or something. But the reason for your silver on this particular image, Marinda, it feels more like a snapshot to me. It doesn't feel like an image that's going to do very well in club. The eyes and the focus is not entirely on the giraffe, and it's not entirely on the little girl either. I think it's just a moment where you were all together and you captured them feeding the giraffe something, and you've got lots of branches and everything growing out the top of the head. The other particular thing on this little image is, on your image, is that you've warmed up her skin tones to quite a red coloration. So just watch that going forward. Thank you.
Man and his best friend, Marita for Deirdre.
Yeah. The one thing I've seen about Deirdre is that she really does know how to do her monochrome conversions to get maximum inky blacks and really strong quality whites coming through on her images, and keeps the scenes really simple. Keep them really, really simple. Here you've got the interaction between the man and the dog, and the connection between the two is quite profound. That they're on a street, that they're walking down, the pose of the dog, the movement, there is a connection between the two, and I find that very engaging. In terms of the selections, just be a little bit careful again. I'm looking at what's going on between the legs, and there's a very bright area at the top between his legs. Now, is it realistically, there's two bright areas. Could it have been something on the street? I'm not seeing it there. But even if it was there, just manage it a little bit better, because I don't want to look down there between his legs. I want my eye to stay on the dog and the man and the connection between the two. But well deserving of your merit.
Tina and Diane, maybe Deirdre should give us a talk on mono conversion at the next whenever.
Oh, yeah.
She's an expert at this.
She absolutely is. I judged an image of hers at F-Stop for the annual awards. I want to say it was last year, and I think she's also 3-star there. And I made a 3-star the overall winner for the image of the year, and it was a monochrome image because she is that good.
Yes.
I don't know if you've all seen the escalator image, the man going up the escalator.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so that for me was quite profound. I know it's also subsequently done very well in salons, and I saw it in a salon recently as well. But Peter, you've hit the nail on the head. How can we all learn from each other and share our gifts? And I know you do. You're always very good to teach, but Deirdre really stands out in her monochrome conversion work. She understands it very, very well.
Yeah.
Is she overseas? Am I right in thinking she doesn't live in South Africa either?
Sweden, I think.
Okay, yes, I remember something along those lines. Yeah. Yeah, guys, definitely. Good idea, good proposal.
Okay. No forklifts in Istanbul, only porters. Silver for Diane.
Okay. So I understand the comparison of storytelling images here. You've got the statue, and obviously it's something where people pay homage to the amount of work these porters do and the back-breaking sacrifices they make. You've got the juxtaposition of I'm talking about, sorry, the story on the left with the actual trolleys that are now cut off. And then on the right-hand side, you're actually showing us the picture of what they look like in modern day times, right? So I understand that. And I also expect that my eye's going to toggle left and toggle right and toggle left and toggle right, because you're drawing our attention. In terms of the image on the left, the cutoff of the trolleys, I would love to see more of that, because I think this is modern day, and you had the story there on the left image. That is a story, and the story on the right is another story. I don't know if you do something called series images at Brandpunt, where you don't do an AV, but you put together 6 images, and those 6 images tell a story, and you view each image on its own merit. I think these two would be image 1 and image 2. Rather than seeing a left and right comparison, I don't know that this would cope in a salon. I've never seen, I'm 100% honest with you, I don't know. I've never seen an image where 2 totally different stories are told, but it's the same central theme. If we look at the image on the right, yeah, you can see it's backbreaking. You can see he's now a modern man. The cloth on the back is a little bit bright. If I'm going to judge that one just on its own. But I think overall together, the cropping, the direct comparison for the 2 doesn't relate well in my mind. Thank you.
Not so feel good. Goud for Peter.
Yeah. Taking time to actually tell the story. So normally we say we don't want text in the background because exactly that happens. Where did your eyes go first? Quickly to the blanket. You don't spend time there and you go up there and you read the message that's written there. Because as humans, we're so conditioned. We see billboards all over. We've got advertising everywhere. And look at what it's saying. Full of feel good. But does she look good? Hell no. So it's strong, strong, strong juxtaposition. That child there, she ain't ever going to have those ice creams, right? Look at her slippers, living on the side of the road. It's definitely not so feel good, and I think it's compelling. Well done.
Playing the piano, silver for Trevor.
Yeah, Trevor, I can see why you took this image of the lady. Maybe it's family or maybe it's a church and you've got a good angle on the image. So you've got her hands in clay. You've got a nice, interesting vantage point across it. And it's offset against the black. Now, everything that we shoot, especially higher up in the senior levels, there must be a reason for why we are actually shooting against a background. So I don't mind that you've offset this lovely lady against a background, but as much black as you're going to put in needs to all add to the story. So do you need that much black behind her back? I would have said cut out just on the stool, give it a few millimeters in front of it and cut off there. Look how many pixels you are wasting, that all those pixels that are black there could have been rather utilized better within the image. That's the first thing. The 3 reasons for the silver is your selection. When you're painting out distracting backgrounds, and we all need to do it, it's very challenging. So if you look under her hands, between the piano and her jeans, you see quite an area there where it needs to be just a little bit more refined, and then obviously against her little hairline. And there are some tricks to doing that. And if you look under your name, I also saw that on the small one, there's that line that goes down. So you will be the only one that knows why you didn't want that background, why you didn't want the church or all those people in. Maybe this lady, that's her passion, and you really wanted to make her step out. But you just need to spend just a tad more time in making those good selections so that it looks very credible. It looks like you set up a black backdrop and she was there, and now you've got that little outline on the top, and you want to get rid of that so that becomes a very strong composite. And then, guys, I'm going to go back one step, and I'm just going to say in all things, often we get color casts. This is a very old wooden piano, and it's got that yellow color cast, and it's coming across her face. So it makes her white, maybe silver hair, look very yellow, or you try to warm up the image a little bit. Just always render the skin as true as possible. And if it isn't that way, healthier is a little bit more pink, a little bit away from the yellow look. I hope that helps you. Thank you.
Sitting on the pavement, Marita van Nick.
When I chose my winners in the two different categories this evening, I felt like I had synergy across the images, and where I'm giving the 14s, they are very, very simple concepts across the board, where I give a very strong 14, 15, a com. And this image again has got super, super storytelling. I see Elsa. Elsa's popping up with beautiful comments. I hope you can all see it on images that inspire her. And this is what we want to do. Elsa, Julie, sorry, I've seen you do it as well, Judes. We must encourage each other, because now when we go out in the field, we think, there was a judge a couple of months ago, and they were very, very simple images. They weren't complicated, but it was simple. It had structure, it had storytelling, it had emotion, it had a very simple complex. So let's look at this one. It's got color, it's got expression. Okay, so I've looked at the top and I'm going down. I'm looking at expression. I'm looking at the way the turban is across her head. I don't know how many images you guys have seen of women in India, women in Africa, women in China. And the poorer the communities are, the less they have money for things that we take for granted in society, like bras and good underwear. And in this image, I can see saggy boobs. Sorry, guys, I just call it as it is. She's got a tired life. She's not wearing a bra. There's story everywhere through the elements of this image. It's taken its toll on her. Her skin is worn, but she's still dressing colorfully. Her leg is at an angle. It's different. It's not crossed. We don't sit like this, right? We don't sit like this. Then you look at the bottom and there's texture, there's moss, there's a pop of green. And then I get to those shoes and I ask myself, what is she even putting that on her foot for? What are those shoes actually doing to help this woman walk on those sand roads? Beautiful image. Thank you very much.
Twee is beter as een, goud vir sari.
What I really enjoyed about your image, and I had to think to myself how you process this, sorry, because you've got so much color pop, right? The image comes up and we feel like it's HDR before we even think of anything. What did he do? How come those skin tones are so damn good, all right? There's connection between the two. And again, I'm saying, hold on a minute. These guys, they've each got one full leg on the opposite side. Like one's got a left leg, one's got a right leg. They are both amputees. But they're smiling, they're finding some joy in their dire circumstances. And you have selected the background and you've made it a lot darker. You've desaturated the labels so that that color toning really does pop out nicely. Just why you just really miss your com on this particular one. If you look at the gentleman on the right-hand side and you look at the highlight around his head, you've sharpened quite a bit on it, okay? And it's coming out there glowing above his ear and on the top of his head. This image deserves a com. Just go back, look down on that body warmer, and you see that bright little halo. And that's because you did a subject selection and you inverted it and you darkened the background. And that's how you've really got them to pop. Now you almost need to blend them somehow back into their environment so it's not quite as striking. Well done.
Thank you. Warming up. Marita for Carlos.
Yeah, just a humble shot, right? A humble shot that tells the story. And again, it fits, all of them fit the subject, human interest, doing something, telling us a story, telling us about their lives, nice warm contrast. In terms of your exposure, if you shoot the fires, you've got to make sure that you underexpose just a little bit so that when you do pull down your exposure, you can recover some of those very bright white areas down at the bottom of the flames. This is very easy to practice because luckily as South Africans, we all have bras, right, Carlos? So next time you've got a bra out, get your camera out and just keep practicing until you make sure you find it's like taking a photo of a candle. You don't want your candle to totally blow out to that white area. And if you're going to put this in PJ, they're going to say the technicalities don't matter. But if you look on the left-hand side of the flames there, which is never ever the brightest area of your fire, right? So this is manipulation allowed. I would clone, and I often do if I'm not entering it into PJ, clone some of those areas on the left-hand side and underneath the embers. It doesn't, I'm not saying you mustn't have white. I'm just saying don't have so much white, and match it in there into those little areas. You are allowed to do that in this particular category because it says manipulation is allowed. You want the judges to give you the best scores. So try that. And as I said, go back and shoot your braai every Friday night or Sunday, the evening braais, and then you'll practice it and you'll get great shots. And from those shots, by the way, you'll use those flames and composite them in on all other manner of images. Thank you.
We miss Mommy. Silver for Elsa.
Oh, sure. Yeah, a compelling image. I mean, my heart really, really breaks. And I looked at these two little boys, and I can see the resemblance of Mommy to the little boy at the back, especially. And it's compelling. It's heartbreaking. And if you have ever had anybody that you've lost, and you see little kids like this, and oh, it's very sore. So yeah, I understand this. We have the same experience in our family. And so I understand why you took the photo. I love the candles on the right-hand side. In terms of technical, why the silver? Well, why the silver probably, Elsa, is because you're already so high up on the rankings that you're not getting your gold on the image, because yes, it is worth a gold, but this horrible sliding scale. The other reason for me is it's a hard flash that you used here. So if you look at the background on the little boy, I can see you had on-camera flash where the lighting is coming through. So they're quite bright there, and it's got a little bit of a glare on the mommy. I would like to see the mommy, if you can try and pull down your levels, get a little bit more of the blacks in there. And just in terms of shooting, we try and eliminate those very hard shadows behind them. But in terms of, is this image compelling? Did you really tug at my heart? Yes, you really did. Things to think about, right? Thank you.
Thank you. Young and old waiting for the bus. Goud for Nico.
Nico. Nico, so you shoot cars and human interest too, right? Okay, yeah. I see the juxtaposition that you've drawn between the youth and what is typical for the youth to always be involved in on their social media and their phones, etc. And here you've got the two people on the right-hand side. There is a little bit of a disconnect because they're quite far away from each other. So I'm wondering if there potentially would be a stronger story if you cut out this road, because the road creates quite a door block. It's a bright area at the bottom. Do I really need it? The bus isn't going to come along in this front section. The bus is on the other side of the road, right? So I don't really need to know that you're standing in the middle island. This bottom strip here, I would crop out completely, take it completely out. And then if it were me, I would potentially crop from the tree, include South Surrey White Rock, and down on the door and cut out the boy. That's one image. Come in a little bit closer, and I'm just going to engage on those people. And a totally different image, if you had enough pixels, will be about that little guy. Because they're so far from me at the moment, and also, you've got young and old. There is it looks like a little hat with these grandparents sitting there that's a little bit obscured and it's a bit bright. I think you just needed to get a little bit closer if you didn't feel like you were invading on their privacy. And if you brought me a little bit closer to them, handle the exposure, either image would tell a very nice story. You've got some nice reflections, especially on the guy on the left, and an interesting image on the right too. But as presented for a 3-star, still good for your gold. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Natasha. That was the last image of the evening. I'm going to ask you, we're going to go back to the open. If you could just give us your junior and senior winner, please.
Did I not put it on the score sheet, Albertino?
No, you did. Can I do it for you?
Oh, please. I don't want to make a mistake. And I've judged too many times in the last in the last week. I've pretty much got a vague idea, but I'd rather you just read it from what I've given you.
That's fine. That is.
Thank you so much.
Well, that is our junior winner of the open section. That is Lucia with a merit. Nectar moment. Let me just make a note here.
And again, Lucia, this presents even better than I'm seeing it on Zoom. Very, very well done.
And then our senior one was that was our senior winning image for, and that is Guler en die rooi Rocky van Sari, baie geluk Sari.
Sorry, we went right past this, and I wanted to stop and say, let me quickly go back. If I were you, that writing on that building that's red, make that black. Make it black.
Okay.
You know why? Because you want all the emphasis on this red dress. I don't want to look up on that top building that's also red. So don't let it pull your eye away, okay? Thank you.
And that was a 2 then for open. Can I go to nature? Nature, oh, we're there already. The catch of the day, that is the junior winning image van Marie. Baie geluk, Marie.
Well done, Marie.
And then the senior is the incoming Kingfisher. That is the one of Jan Roos. Baie geluk, Jan, met jou goud.
Can I ask, is Jan the gent that does the excursions with his son or grandson to Madikwe? Is that the same person?
No, it's not. It's not.
No.
Is it the same name, Jan Roos, Diane? There is another Jan Roos.
Jan just takes photos of birds, but he doesn't do excursions.
Okay. Yeah, you can see he's passionate, eh? Beautiful,
Yes,
beautiful image.
He's the Birdman of Brandpunt.
Oh, well, I see why. So I'm coming to you for lessons, Jan. I told you, you've got a lot of experts in the different genres, right?
Oh, thank you. That is the junior winner of the set subject, Marie met Marita. Sorry, why it takes long. I'm hunting for the
I'm so
award.
sorry. I should have printed it out. I'm so sorry.
No, I've got it in front of me. It's just fine. Okay, and then, so that was the junior, and the senior is sitting on a pavement.
Yes.
That's the senior winning image of the evening for the set subject. Is van Nick, baie geluk Nick.
I don't know if I mentioned, but also try it in monochrome, Nick.
So dat was Diane, sal jy ek wil net hierso save, Diane.
Okay, Natasha, thank you very much for judging for us. Everybody is extremely grateful for your commentary. Something must
Sorry if it was long.
people in the set subject is, I said it had to be color, and there were some people that did the black and white, and you keep on telling people to convert it to mono as well. Tell them
I'm
why
talking
they're
about in
doing this.
salons. Sorry, I'm
Salon.
talking about if they're going to enter it in salon. Sorry for the confusion, but I think sometimes it helps to know that your image works really well in color, and you can also, it has potential to work very, very well in monochrome as well.
Okay.
Sorry for the confusion.
Okay, thanks. Because the PSSA did say, but they
Colour.
want this in a color.
Yeah.
The set subject
And the thing is, most images with human interest work really well in color, right? They work really well in color. But if you think of an Indian person, like here we go, human interest, you see cultures and you see mood and obviously the vibrance in color. This image would not be the same without all those beautiful colors in it. It's what brings the color magic to the image. But if you have already got your acceptances in human interest, let's say, and you've got 2 or 3 different ones, there's no reason why you can't try and do a monochrome conversion, not in human interest, but in monochrome, in the monochrome category, because it is strong enough for monochrome.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm definitely going to contact you on Brits and say, I recommend that they do two categories, one in color and one in monochrome. You know, not both, but one a different to the other one.
Yeah. I still find it very confusing that this is a category that you can manipulate. It's just too close to PJ, right? It is confusing, but your members all rose to the occasion. So well done and thank you. It was an absolute pleasure to enjoy the evening. I look back and it's more than 3 years since I was with Brandpunt, and there's a lot of new names. You've grown. Your masters are still producing great images. Your members are getting out and traveling the world and still loving photography 3 years later. And yeah, we're a community, and it was just such a treat. So wonderful to enjoy the evening with all of you. Thank you.
I'm just getting very good feedback from the members. They are very impressed with you. I will see you on Saturday at the Congress or whatever, and I'll talk to you there.
Yeah, please. And hopefully all your members that aren't upset with me will come and say hello. And I'll get to make a few more friends as well. So thank you very much, Brandpunt. Look forward to seeing you. Peter, I'll also see you there on Saturday, right? Oh, he's gone maybe, Diane.
Yeah, maybe not. But most of us that's in Alberton are going to the Congress. Karen, Nick, Peter, Carlos is going.
Wonderful. But I think it's going to be fantastic. There's a lot to do.
Yeah.
There really is a lot to do. So well done, Diane. Thank you for a very nice, and sorry for stressing you out with me getting the themes confused. Sure. That would have been
that's not a problem. But you did very well. I mean, there's nothing that we can do better. I mean, you're perfect. Thank you.
No, never ever perfect. As long as something I shared makes a difference to one person. And next time when I hear you judge or somebody else judge, and even when I look at your images, there's a lot of people in this club that I really enjoy the work, and I enjoy following you, and you inspire me as well. So it works always. So thank you very much. Good night, everybody.
Thank you so much, Natasha.
Good night.
Yeah.
Cheers,
Thank you,
everybody.
Natasha. Thank you.
Bye.
Dankie, Ronnie. Ronnie, dankie dat jy ingeskakel het, en Elsa. Sy is al weg.
Dankie julle.
Dankie julle almal.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night, lekker slaap.
Night, lekker slaap.
Nightie.